San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego, and a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station, 97.3. The Fan. Frank Marchese over there, as always. A lot to get to in the sports world today. We got some exhibition games going on, some tune-up games for a lot of the teams competing in the World Baseball Classic, going against a lot of the teams from the world, obviously, or from Major League Baseball. Canada is playing the Blue Jays today. The Tigers are playing the Dominican Republic. Team USA is playing the Giants. I mean, a lot of those happening today. Mexico's playing the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it will be fun to see how that plays out over spring training. We'll kind of keep you updated on that throughout the day. As for the Padres, they're actually playing a major league team. They're playing the White Sox today. Everybody else, most other teams today are playing different countries to get the countries in tune-up mode to get ready for the WBC. Team USA will play the Padres will play Great Britain tomorrow, and then we got WBC action starting Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Is this our Friday? Is there a game tomorrow too?
Yeah, there is the openers tomorrow. There's only one game tomorrow, 2 on Thursday, and then I think the rest of them play on Friday.
Are those the ones that are played in Tokyo?
Possibly, yes.
So they're going to be up it's going to be super early in the morning. So anyway, today's starting pitching matchup for the Team Canada versus the Blue Jays, also kind of Team Canada. Logan Allen versus Kevin Gossman. Now, I'm going to talk about the World Baseball Classic in a second. But I have to say, as much as I was going to start the show, and I still am going to start the show kind of with this. About Fernando Tatis Jr. playing the WBC, why it's awesome, why he's excited, why he's built for it. We're going to get into Michael King and what he did yesterday, some of the goals for Michael King in 2026. In the 11 o'clock hour, ESPN a couple of days ago put together a early lineup prediction for 2026. We're going to go through that, starting with the East, the Central, and then the West for Major League Baseball. We'll have Sam Levitt on around noon. Might change, could change. Dive back into some salary cap conversations that we didn't get to last week, what the fans think about the salary cap. We'll talk about the WBC, give you a preview of tomorrow's World Baseball Classic opener with all the pools that are about to get started. And then we'll talk about, obviously, the Aztecs in a very important game later tonight. Now, what I really want to start the conversation with, because I got this on the way to work this morning, but from Jeff Passan, breaking, all caps, Passanbaum. Atlanta Braves designated hitter Jurickson Profar is facing a 162-game suspension after testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug for the second time. The second time. It has now been 2 times in 1 year. The guy gets hit with a PED violation. He is the 6th player to receive a 162-game ban for PED use since Major League Baseball increased the penalty for 2-time offenders to a full season back in 2014. He will forfeit the entirety of his $15 million salary and will be ineligible for the postseason. Profar will also be ineligible for the upcoming World Baseball Classic, where he was set to represent the Netherlands, whose team includes players from his native Curacao. The loss of Profar obviously is a significant blow to the Braves, who have already lost starting pitchers in Spencer Schwellenbach and Hurston Waldrop to elbow injuries. as they try to rebound from a 76 and 86 season. The 2025 season started, kind of similar to this season now, with Profar's 80-game suspension on March 31st for a human chronic. I'm not going to pronounce it. He tested for something that you can't have. It's a hormone typically made during pregnancy that can encourage testosterone production. Following the suspension, Profar said in a statement that, quote, "It is because of my deep love and respect for this game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it." In a statement at the time, the Braves said they were surprised and extremely disappointed, but that they fully support the program and are hopeful Jurickson will learn from this experience. Atlanta signed Profar to a 3-year, $42 million contract last January after he had a career year with the Padres the year before. His suspension came following the 4th game of the season, and after returning in early July, he went on to hit .245 with a .434 slug, 14 homers, 43 RBIs played in the season. So he used to be the number 1 prospect in baseball. He debuted at 19 years old with the Texas Rangers, spent more time on the injured list than on the field during those first 5 seasons. He bounced around Oakland, San Diego, Colorado, returned to San Diego, had a career year, and now has been hit for a second PED suspension. I gotta just ask the question. How do you do this twice in 1 year? How? How? I don't even understand. Look, cheating is bad, okay? Cheating is bad. Okay. But I can reason with, I can understand a little bit. It's bad, but I can understand the cheating to get the contract. It's fraud. It's not good. It's illegal. I just be like, all right, well, if the guy did it to get his first big contract, okay, I understand. He wants to take the pay cut when he gets suspended. That's the risk he takes. He wants to take the risk. He doesn't care about his image. You know what? I don't necessarily know if I respect it, but I get it. I understand. That's for suspension number 1. Especially since after suspension number 1, he went on to say in a statement, "It is because of my deep love and respect for this game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it."
Quinn and Chris on the Fan.
That's labeled as something else.
Brother, what?
It was supposed to be this. That's what it was labeled as.
Quinn and Chris saved over their deal?
I guess so.
Whoops. Anyway, back to the brother what for Profar. "It is because my deep love and respect for this game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it." And then you cheated again. Not even a full calendar year. Unbelievable. As I said before, I look at this and I go, all right, to get the contract, you factor in the 80-game suspension, you're still going to make really good money on your big deal. And at that point, you don't need to take steroids anymore. You could literally just suck. If the steroids are the only reason why you're good, you could literally just go out there and suck. The contract's guaranteed. The contract is guaranteed. What are you doing? Now you get suspended for an entire season. They still got to pay you one more time. Braves are going to pay this guy to go away at this point. But I don't know. Who is advising you, Jurickson? Or are you just that dumb? It's just a dumb thing to do. It was dumb the first time. To take the risk to try to get a contract, that would be the only thing that relatively makes sense about taking steroids. Even then, it's probably not worth it. That was dumb. And then you do it again in the next year. I got to know. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. Has anybody else done it twice in 1 year? Has anybody done it twice in 1 year? I mean, when Robinson Cano got hit a second time, wasn't it like years later?
I think it was Henry Mejia, the former Met closer. I think he got busted 3 times in like a 2-year span.
I gotta look this up. How can you do that twice? Robinson Cano got it. Marlon Byrd got it. Francis Marquez got it. Jenry Mejia got it.
Yeah, Henry Mejia. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mejia's banned from baseball. He got it a third time too.
Yeah. But like how far in between? Like Cano got hit in 2020. He didn't do it in 2019. I mean, what are you doing? I don't understand. I don't understand.
April 11th, 2015, he was suspended for 80 games. Mejia, speaking of. January 25th, 2016, he re-signed, avoiding arbitration, but got suspended again. So he got hit twice in an 8-month span.
No, Mejia.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's other guys that did that.
And then he got hit a third time in 2017. November 1st, 2017.
I gotta look. When did Cano got hit twice? And it wasn't back-to-back years. He got suspended in 2018, and then it was 2 years later. He got hit again in 2020. I mean, Cano ended up getting picked up multiple times, but Robinson Cano was a lot better of a player than Jurickson Profar. Who's advising this guy? So dumb. I love the memes right now. There's one of the Uno meme where it goes, play baseball without PEDs or draw 25 cards. And then there's a Photoshop picture of Profar's face holding 25 cards. You can't fit. I don't know how you can come back from that.
We also don't know when these tests were administered. Because we had said it, I had said it off air. I think we now can assume things about the 2024 season for Jurickson Profar.
I mean, you can't really. You can start thinking about it. I think it makes it suspicious, but
you don't know when those tests were administered. It could have been right at the end of the season. They just don't announce it until later when they get all of the results back in. So I mean, those results could have been sitting there for a while.
They also could be at the beginning of when you showed up to spring training.
It very well could.
He could have taken them both before he got to spring training in Atlanta. I don't want to speculate nor assume anything about anything in the past for Jurickson Profar, but I mean, his entire thing is tainted now. But I just, from a business standpoint, it makes no sense. Wouldn't you, after the first time you got dinged with the PED suspension, wouldn't you at that point just lay low just so you can make money?
Yes.
It's not like he's on league minimum. He signed a 3-year deal. He's going to forfeit a year and a half of it already. And then he's owed another $15 or whatever $1 million next year. And
there's a chance there might be no baseball next year, and he won't get paid.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a prorated salary for sure. Jurickson Profar. Good thing the Padres didn't re-sign him, huh? I mean, that is crazy how that happens twice.
Like we said, when it happens, sometimes the best decision is the one you don't make. And the decision to not re-sign Jurickson Profar is looking like a pretty good decision right now.
You go to Fangraphs. If you go to Fangraphs roster resource.
Oh no.
Jurickson Profar, it says 2026 0 on the thing. Hey, Braves are saving $18 million.
Yes, they are.
$15 million for the Profar suspension, and then it knocks $3 million off because they were over the luxury tax, one of the thresholds. Now it knocks down a notch. 0. He has now turned, Frank, because Fangraphs has already updated it. Jurickson Profar has now turned a 3-year, $42 million contract into a 3-year, $21 million contract.
That's impressive.
He cut his entire salary in half. This year, he's 33. He's going to be 34 next year. I mean, what are you doing, my guy?
After the first time, I would go to the league office with my entire medicine cabinet and go, is any of this on the restricted list?
That's assuming
Please
that's what the problem was.
Well, no, it said,
yes, just a double hit.
I mean, if it really was the case, because I don't remember what he got suspended for. I'm the first time it may have been a fertility drug. It may have been something else. But like anything I am ingesting, I'm going to the league office and saying, hey, is this cool? Can I use this? You can't George Costanza your way out of this one.
No. Where is that? You should have made that a drop, Frank.
Yeah, was that wrong?
Was that wrong? That's Jerks and Profar showed up to work today. Was that wrong?
I'm telling you, I got to plead ignorance on this one.
Should I have not done that? We got to make it a drop, dude. At this point, now we've had two in the same. We had 2 in a week.
I'll get working on that right now.
Was that wrong? Should I have not done that?
Comes with its own laugh track too, so you guys don't have to
you
laugh
don't have
at
to
home.
laugh. Oh my god, I had no idea this sort of behavior was frowned upon. I came from a place where this happens all the time. That definitely we need to cut that part out for talking about Profar, because that means he's talking about us.
Well,
but I think this doesn't. At this point, it doesn't affect the Padres anymore.
Here you go. Here it is.
I got to hear it.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you, I got to plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here that sort of thing was frowned upon, because I've worked in a lot of offices, and I tell you, people do that all the time.
People do that all the time. Unbelievable. I was going to get into the WBC. I could not. I could not talk about that. It's amazing. There's so many different memes that are funny about this. It's unbelievable how you could do that twice in 1 year.
It's an unfortunate and sad story too.
It is sad.
You had so many people behind you. San Diego loved you. He left, and it's turned into nothing but a nightmare for him. It's so unfortunate.
So ridiculous. All right. Well, Jerks and Profar is going to miss the entire. I'd love to know his statement now. I really would. I would love to know it. I would love to know.
I think we just played it.
Yep, exactly. That's it. That was Jerks and Profar's statement. I can't believe that. I mean, I can and I can't. Sometimes you got to protect these guys from themselves. It's like, at what point did you think that was a good idea? The other thing, too, and I saw this, Adam sent it. The conversation, like first day of camp, they asked Jerks and Profar about, whatever. And he's like, oh, well, the last season didn't go, it didn't go the way I wanted it to, or the team. And I worked really hard in the off season, and I'm ready to get going. And they asked, did you do anything this off season to make sure that mix up that happened before never happens again? And he goes, yes. We might have to play that. I need to hear from Jerks and Profar. I need a comment. I need a statement. And if it turns out to be just George Costanza, I'm going to die laughing. I can't believe this. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the WBC. Fernando's getting geared up for it. And also, from a baseball perspective, some key takeaways out of yesterday's game as we set you up for today's Padres game. Braden Surprenant Show off and running. San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Statement wins, title clinched, and program shaking upset. It was a week that perfectly captured what San Diego State Athletics is right now. Dangerous, resilient, and built for March. Start with the men's team. Now, from first place tie to now a second place battle for the Aztecs men's basketball team, they delivered one of their most complete performances of the year in an 89-72 statement win over Utah State, where they shot 55% for the field. They scored 42 bench points. They controlled the glass. They forced turnovers. Reese Dixon Waters poured in 20. But then again on Saturday, Aztecs dropped a tight 81-76 decision to New Mexico. Back and forth game. Miles Bird led the way with 17, but New Mexico made the plays late. We're talked about this on the show. They did get hosed at the end of that game, but they put themselves in the situation at this point where every game matters, and putting the game in the ref's hands also is something that it's something that they didn't need to have happen. Yet they played themselves into a situation where they're relying on the referees at the pit to rule in their favor, which never is going to end well.
No, you cannot, especially in college on the road, you cannot anticipate the officials giving you a call. And you're right, it goes back so much farther beyond this past week. The loss to Utah State when the game was close, they ended up running away in Utah while we were out at FanFest. The game before that, or game or two before that, the loss to Grand Canyon, the close loss to Grand Canyon. Of course, you go back to the non-conference games, the awful loss against Troy at the beginning of the season. It's just a continuation of the disappointing, underachieving year that has been for this San Diego State Aztecs basketball team.
They have shown that they can dominate, yet they have also shown that they can be vulnerable late. I mean, and in March, execution, the final 6 minutes is everything. We talk about this, and we're going to talk about this on our college sports update, the bubble update that we have leading into the NCAA tournament. We have conference championship games coming up this week, conference championship tournaments, if you will. They already start this week. They start as early, I think, as today. I think the Horizon League starts today, where automatic bids are going to start flying off the board. But the reality is the Power Four conferences are getting more and more teams in and investing a ton of money into their basketball programs. And a lot of these schools are not really, they don't have the resume to make it in, but they have the nod because they're a Power Four school. Like, I look at a school like Auburn, who's lost 7 out of their last 8 games, who has looked absolutely awful in SEC play, who's 1 game above 500 and 6-10 in conference play. They're a spot above San Diego State right now. I mean, that's everything you need to know about where everything lies in terms of the selection committee. You have 37 available spots for the NCAA tournament for at-large bids because 31 teams are going to get an automatic qualifier. And in order to get one of those spots, you have to outdo the Power Four. And right now, the Power Four has 34 of those 37 spots, according to a lot of bracketologists, what is very alarming for schools like San Diego State.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be able to give yourself as much opportunity as you possibly can in order to get into these tournaments, especially when you're talking about, the human element coming into it as far as who's getting in and who's getting out. So for San Diego State, it really, really important to get as many wins as they possibly could. Unfortunately, it's going to fall now. They got 2 left here against Boise State and against UNLV. So you still have a couple of chances to at least somewhat impress, because right now they're being shown as one of the first 4 out. At
the very least, they get to increase their chance in the Mountain West tournament by trying to get a better seed.
Yes,
in the tournament, trying to get that bye in the first 4 teams, trying to be in a really good spot bracket wise. In terms of women's basketball, same thing as for the women's. They won the Mountain West Conference Championship outright in the regular season, but they're also in a one bid league. So they're going to have to win the tournament if they want to make the NCAA tournament. They're obviously the favorite, but they had a gritty 66-64 comeback win at Boise State last week. They were down 11 and scored just 21 points in the first half, then flipped the switch in the second half. They're now 24-4. They're 18-1 in conference. Program record 17 conference wins. Team that has toughness, a team that defends, a team that adjusts. And unlike the men's team, they've been finishing a lot of these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently sitting at 24-4, 18-1 in the conference, program record in conference wins. So the women's team have gotten the job done, and you would expect them to do the same thing when it comes to the Mountain.
All right, here's your Jerks and Profar update. As this is obviously an ongoing and developing story of Jerks and Profar facing a 162-game suspension. He has not been suspended yet, Frank.
Lovely.
Profar, the suspension is not yet official, but Profar is facing that penalty, as Jeff Passan said, according to Ken Rosenthal. Everybody's favorite journalist, Ken Rosenthal.
Oh, where is it?
Got it. There it is. Also goes on to say that the Players Association plans to challenge MLB's intention to suspend Profar for 162 games, according to The Athletic. Union will file a grievance, sources say. Somebody responded with, on what grounds? To another response, patience, young grasshopper. I love the internet sometimes. I mean, seriously, like, on what grounds? Like, they're just filing a grievance, buddy. They have no ground. They're just filing it. They don't know what they're doing. They don't do their homework. These lawyers are not great. They're just filing a grievance to file a grievance.
Brother just asked, on what grounds? Like, dude,
I didn't know you were a judge,
man.
my guy. On what grounds? Just because the information has not been made public yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Amazing. That was like, by the way, this morning, we had a little bit of a sprinkler issue where the ones in the front yard did not turn off. And so the front yard is kind of flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process, my dad and I trying to get sprinklers off, and the front yard's flooded. And some neighbor walking their dog, some older lady, had the audacity, Frank, the audacity to ask, do you guys have a water problem?
Nope.
No, man, we just like to flood our front yard. What?
Here's your sign.
Where's Bill Engvall? Are you kidding me? Come on, lady. I thought my dad was just going to explode. And he was like, seems to be. I would have lost my mind. What? The audacity. The audacity. Not the Odyssey. No. Not the company we work for. The audacity of that woman. Do you have a water problem? I don't know, ma'am. The entire street is covered in water, and it's coming from one spot, and that's our house. Come on. Give me a break. Give me a break. Is that what you get to look forward to in home ownership? Having things happen to your house and then having neighbors ask dumb questions? Come on. The audacity. I had to get that out there. Your thoughts? She was curious. Curiosity salted the snail, EC Money. How many snails did I have last night? None. 0. I wiped them out.
Yes.
Decimated. Murdered. All over the backyard. They thought they were cool. They thought they had me.
Fought them with chemicals after you sent some to the very first ever Snail Space Force.
That's right. Is that what you look forward to in home ownership for people that own homes? For all the dads out there that have to fix stuff? Is it, your neighbor saying, Mike, you seem to have a little bit of a water problem there. Yeah, I could see that, Cheryl. Thank you. All right, that's enough on Jurickson Profar. That was the latest update on that. When we come back, we're going to discuss what happened in yesterday's Padres game. We will also talk about what's going on in today's Padre game. Lineups are out already. Padres are going to take on the White Sox today at Camelback Ranch. A lot of international teams for the WBC are in action today as well. We'll keep you updated on what's going on when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Settings Number Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Over 1 year ago, San Diego FC and St. Louis City SC walked out of Snapdragon Stadium with a scoreless draw, cautious, unfinished first chapter. This time, well, nothing cautious about it. Anders Dreyer wasted just 3 minutes to change the tone entirely. Dreyer, last season's MVP runner-up, buried the opener off a sharp pass from Marcus Ingvarsson with an Ani Valakari helping build the play, and San Diego never looked back in a 2-0 win over St. Louis. It wasn't just a win, it was control, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. San Diego FC dominated their possession over 61%, outshot St. Louis City 10-4. Goalkeeper Duran Ferri secured his second straight clean sheet. Ingvartsen added the insurance goal in the 54th minute, which Apple TV missed because they had a video blackout. Fun. Set up once again by Dreyer, who now has assists and goals flowing early in this season. I mentioned it on the show. Dreyer already has 4 goal contributions of the 7 goals. And if you want to count that shot that was saved that redirected right to Amal Pellegrino in the opener against Montreal, he has contributed directly to 5 of San Diego FC's 7 goals this year, which is incredible.
Yeah, San Diego FC dominated the possession at over 61%, outshot St. Louis 10-4, and Ferri, again, as you mentioned, second straight clean sheet. I mean, these are all numbers that are staggering and dominating, and a big reason why San Diego FC is going to be one of the favorites this season. I mean, I know they keep talking about LAFC being like the big dog to look out for in the Western Conference, and maybe they are, and maybe that sets up a big rivalry game in the future, but the way San Diego FC has been playing and the confidence they're playing with, it's the stability that they have on the field and also off the field with a lot of different guys getting contract extensions now.
Yeah, absolutely. And for LAFC, it's more based off of, well, they're the Inter Miami of the West. They're signing big international stars. Sung came in at the end of last season on a move from Tottenham. So they have the big name international stars that have made themselves a name in Europe, just in the same way that Inter Miami has with guys like Lionel Messi. So that's where that comparison comes from. And they've also started the season off very, very hot. But yeah, to be able to get 2 wins convincingly to start off this season, especially after the contract extensions that we'll get to right now that have been handed out, is a very, very good sign that we're seeing a very special team.
Yeah, San Diego FC signed sporting director and general manager Tyler Heaps to a multi-year extension, and that might not be the biggest move of the week because Heaps built this club from scratch. Entire soccer operations department, coaching staff, 25-man inaugural roster. They got 19 wins, 63 points, and the number 1 seed in the West, and a Western Conference final appearance out of it. Only one other expansion team in MLS history has done that, and that is the 1998 Chicago Fire. Before San Diego, Heaps sharpened his resume at the Right to Dream, AS Monaco, and U.S. Soccer, where he was part of the 2019 Women's World Cup winning staff. He's not just a roster builder. He's a systems guy, analytics-driven, culture first. Locking him in long-term signals something important, that this club isn't thinking about surviving the MLS. They're thinking about building a dynasty model in the MLS, and a big way to do that is keeping your keeper.
And yeah, and to be fair, they've already built that foundation. And as you mentioned, speaking of stability, goalkeeper Pablo Cisniega is also staying. San Diego FC re-signed him through 2027 with a club option beyond that. Now, if you remember last season's playoff run, that was Cisniega in net. 2 games against Portland, thrown into the match in the 29th minute due to injury, saves 3 penalties in a shootout. That is franchise folklore stuff in year 1. A guy who barely got any playing time during the regular season, coming up massively on a second's notice in the postseason is incredible from Cisniega.
Yeah, this year he's already delivered in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. 8 saves against Pumas Unum in Mexico to push San Diego into the round of 16. That's not just depth, it's reliability, and smart clubs lock in reliability early, and that's exactly what San Diego FC did. So what's next for San Diego FC? Well, they head to face Sporting Kansas City this weekend, and then it's back home on March 11th at Snapdragon Stadium for a heavyweight CONCACAF Champions Cup showdown against back-to-back Liga MX champion in Toluca FC. And that is where things are going to get interesting. League play is one thing, but international competition sets depth, tests depth, discipline, and mentality. And so far, San Diego FC looks like they are built for it, Frank.
I wouldn't necessarily say that they are built for it just yet, because that game against Pumas in Mexico, that they really didn't have too much to worry about in that game. You're up 4-1 in aggregate. You can chill out a little bit. You can relax. If it's close or if they're losing against Toluca, that will really test the mettle of this team going into the second leg of that round. But they have been very, very, very good in all aspects so far, whether it be in the CONCACAF Champions Cup or in the MLS.
10:35, we're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. I just saw another tweet. I got to stop with the Jerks Pro 4 stuff. It's just, I'm trying so hard not to laugh about how dumb it sounds. But amount of PED suspension since March 31st, 2025. Jerks and Profar 2. The 1,495 players that played an MLB game last year. Also 2. That's pretty impressive stuff for Jerkson. All right, let's talk about yesterday's game a little bit. There's a lot of things that come out of yesterday's game that really show why you don't need to overlook at what stats are in a Cactus League game. Now, Cactus League games are important for a lot of players that are trying to make a team. They're important for a lot of players that want to be like that are playing for playing time. There's a lot of that going on. So you can't say it's not important. It is important. But some of the things that happened yesterday in the game really highlight, you can't look that far into some of the stats in Cactus League. And the most notable thing is Nick Castellanos. I'm going to jump around here, but Nick Castellanos, he had a 11 pitch at bat in which he hit a double down the left field line. And it was clear as day in fair territory. That was then called foul. So he has a double, and now it's wiped away. And then the next pitch, or whatever, how many pitches it was after that, the end of the at-bat ends up being a double play. This is why you can't look at these stats, Frank. You can't look at this stuff. Situations like that one. He also had a home run taken away, and it turned into a double. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now with some of the Cactus League stuff. Look, I get it, spring training for everybody, but I think you're seeing the power numbers for Nick Castellanos. You're seeing the actual power, not really getting the numbers, because Castellanos, guy's battling for a spot on a team, man, and he's not getting the right, he's getting hosed out there. 11 pitch at bat, his second one of the spring. He was robbed of the double down the line on a blown foul ball call. Grounded into a double play later, as I mentioned. Active defensively, though. He started a double play, completed a pickoff, also left first base unattended once. He's going through the growing pains, but so far, Frank, I kind of like what Nick Castellanos has done. I think he's starting to gel a little bit more with the Padres. I think he's gotten the short end of the stick a couple of times here in spring training, but so far so good for Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, he has been solid. And as you said, this is why you don't look at the actual results. You look at the process of what he's going through, and the process is looking good so far, especially with how well he's taken to first base, especially in his first game. He had a lot of work last game too at first base. So you can't really be all that upset with how things have gone for him if you look at the process and the growth that he has made as a player on the field. It's been exactly what the Padres could have hoped for.
Moving along to other things from yesterday. Of course, the Padres lost 7-2 to the A's. This was kind of going on during our show. They were held hitless until the fifth inning. Final score not overly important for spring training, but some of the performance trends obviously are. Several depth pieces are starting to stand out a lot more, which is great to see. From an offensive perspective, Gavin Sheets broke up the no-hitter in the fifth inning, 1 for 3 with a walk. Crowd reaction shows expectations are quietly building for a guy like Gavin Sheets, but the key takeaway is he's still fighting for everyday playing time and probably could use a little bit more impact swings out there for the offense. But Gavin Sheets starting to settle in a little bit. Sungmoon Song, I think this is an interesting storyline. He had his third hit of the spring, but the most important thing, Frank, is he hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up the middle. That's what you want to
That's
see out of
huge.
Sung Moon Song, right? I mean, you got to do that more consistently. But the whole thing with Sung Moon Song is getting him to adjust to major league pitching, getting him to adjust to the major league fastball, the velocity of a major league fastball. That's what you want to see. I'm glad that Sung Moon Song was able to do that once. He's going to have to do that now on a more consistent basis because you're going to be playing a lot of teams that have guys that throw in the high 90s. I mean, shoot, you look at the Padres bullpen. Almost everybody in the Padres bullpen throws 100 miles an hour. And I know they're one of the best bullpens in baseball, but there's going to be a lot of teams out there that have guys that are throwing over 100 miles an hour. So Sung Moon Song, great job. Getting a 98 mile an hour fastball, back up the middle, squaring it up. He's adjusted his mechanics. He's reduced the leg kick to handle that velocity. And his first hit also came off at 97 miles an hour. So these are all big strides. These are the things that you're looking for in spring training for certain individuals. And for Sung Moon Song, that's a great step in the right direction as he uses this month to get up to speed.
Yeah, and again, if that's what you're working on, that is the result that you're wanting. You want to see him being able to catch up to that pitch. You're not necessarily worried about whether or not he's putting it in play, whether or not he's getting hits with it right now, but just to see that he is able to read it, react in time, he's getting sped up, and he's hitting. He's actually getting the ball hit in a position where he can do some damage with it at that speed. That is a great sign, especially this early for Sung Moon Song.
Yeah, you still want to see more consistency, right? You want to see more consistency in that spot, but the transition from the KBO to Major League Baseball velocity is starting to look a little promising for Sung Moon Song. I talked about what Nick Castellanos did, but the biggest takeaway from Nick Castellanos yesterday, he's continued to grind out at bats at the plate, and he's learning how to play defense on the fly. And the best way to learn how to do something is to get thrown into it. So I liked a lot of the plays that he has already made at first base. Now he's still learning how to play the position and being in all the right spots. But defensively, Nick Castellanos making a lot of strides. I love the way they're grinding out at bats. I love the way he's grinding out at bats. When we get to our lineups, or ESPN's projected lineups ranked, the biggest setback they have for the Padres is the patience. And right now, I like the way that Nick Castellanos is staying patient at the plate and grinding out at bats. I think that points to, what Steven Souza Jr. has already done as a hitting coach.
Yeah, he's looked very good so far. And this whole Padre offense, it's been a little bit slow so far this spring training. They're not getting too many big run games. They are having some big run innings, but as far as big run games, they haven't had too many. Again, right now you're trying to get everyone to buy into the process of getting everyone to believe in the with words.
Getting people to buy into the approach
system.
at the plate,
yeah,
the system,
exactly.
the offense,
That's it.
and everything like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Ty France walked in his lone plate appearance. His .471 on base percentage this spring, pretty good for the Padres so far. Again, he's battling his way, trying to build a case. 5 for 14 with 2 walks. He was hit by a pitch. His biggest thing is he's got to try to get on base consistently, and he's so far been doing that. We know he can play a Gold Glove first base. He's battling for playing time and to make this team with guys like Gavin Sheets and with guys like Nick Castellanos, specifically at first base. Miguel Andujar, another one of those. But Ty France, in his small sample size of production so far in spring training, he's doing what he needs to do to try to make this team.
Yeah, and he's had a solid enough spring so far, has Ty France. I mean, I'm not upset by what he has done so far this spring. He just probably needs a little bit more, especially the biggest issue with Ty France right now is how well Castellanos has taken to first base. Now, you might need another middle infielder. You might need a backup third baseman, especially if they're not sold on Sung Moon Song starting at the major league level. But right now, his big advantage here was that he was the best defensive first baseman that the Padres had. So if you're Ty France and now you're seeing how well Nick Castellanos has taken to the position, probably a little bit more worried than you were before.
Jace Bowen Nobody really knows about his name. He's 6 for 17 so far this spring. Again, he's another one of those guys that it's more about the process than it is the results for spring training, but he's a guy that's making the most of his opportunities. Now, again, it's not against some of the best pitchers so far in Major League Baseball, but he is trending upward and he's trying to force the conversation about the depth chart. Chase Bowen, 6 for 17, 2 doubles, a 9th inning home run. He made it to AAA last season, and he was trying to play his way into the conversation. Obviously, good news for Chase Bowen and the start that he has had. And there's a lot of those players in camp that are going to play their way into an opportunity to face better pitching as spring training continues.
He's not going to be a guy that's going to make the roster, but he's playing for a chance right now to start to make himself to where he may not be the first guy getting called up, but he could be a second or third option. And that is another thing that these kids can do coming up through the ranks here is if you have a good spring, it may not make you the first option off the bench, but it could elevate your standing a little bit inside the organization.
Let's go on to the pitching. Michael King. And we're going to talk about Michael King in the 11 and a little bit later in the show. But Michael King yesterday really struggled with his command. 57 pitches through 32 strikes. He gave up the 2-run homer to Tyler Soderstrom. He gave up the 2-run single to Shea Langoliers. He had 22 pitches in the first inning and only 10 strikes. And he needed to use that spring training reentry rule. He's still building up, but the command is not really there right now. I'm not necessarily worried about it. My biggest takeaway from Michael King after every single outing is, how are you feeling? Do you feel healthy? Do you still feel good? Because that is what you're worried about with a guy like Michael King. You know, the command, I think he needs to work on during the spring. I think obviously he wants to get his pitch mix working as well. But the only thing you want to be worried about with Michael King, and even Joe Musgrove too, he's going to be making a start tomorrow against Great Britain. It's about health more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he got taken out of the game and then put back in, so he did get a little bit more. He did get a little bit of extra work. He got a little bit of extra rest in between innings. Definitely want to see how he feels, especially after that today. If he feels fine, then it's starting to look like all systems go, ready to go for opening day. All's good. Release some of the restraints. But to throw nearly 60 pitches yesterday, and have a heavy workload inning too, with 22 pitches in the first, that would be an encouraging sign if he's feeling all good today.
Other pitching notes for you. How about Logan Gillespie? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Logan Gillespie looked pretty good yesterday. 2 2/3 perfect innings. First outing after the birth of his first child. Remember, he was supposed to start the first game of spring training, and his first child was born. He goes out there yesterday, makes his first outing appearance, and he's a guy that's battling for a pitching spot in the bullpen. He's one of those guys that is really going to try to utilize maybe some injuries in the bullpen to make that opening day roster. And when you're a guy like Logan Gillespie, you really got to hit when you have the opportunity to do so. He did that yesterday. 2 2/3 perfect innings, sharp return, and a very big time depth arm to monitor the rest of the spring, because he's another guy that doesn't have any options left.
I'm one of those guys that has that gut feeling, and I believe it. If Gillespie's biggest mistake was having his kid probably a little bit too close to the start of spring training, because that new dad strength is real. You see it all the time. Guys who have kids go away for a couple days, come back, and then homer or throw great games immediately after they return. New dad strength is real, and I'm afraid that maybe Gillespie might be using that during spring training. It might work out for him. It might get him a spot on the team. Who knows?
Other angles for you in the pitching staff: Jagger Haynes, another depth arm. Obviously, he had a 1-2-3 inning. He's a 23-year-old lefty with velocity, 2 runs allowed in 4 spring training innings. Jackson Wolf. Remember Jackson Wolf from a couple of years ago? He made a couple of spot starts for the Padres, looked pretty good. The player out of West Virginia, a Mountaineer. He was then traded to the Pirates for Rich Hill. He was part of that Rich Hill G-Man Choi package. Didn't really connect with the Pirates. ended up getting released. Padres picked him back up, and he threw the scoreless ninth. No runs allowed in the last 3 appearances, 3 and a third innings. He's really reestablishing himself after a brief MLB stint in 2023. Another guy that we talked about, Frank, probably not going to make the lineup, not going to make the 26-man roster, but a guy that's definitely added depth to this organization that the Padres desperately need.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that came up when the Padres were so just injury riddled in the starting rotation, made a couple of spot starts, and got himself into that trade with the Pirates. But this is a good opportunity for him to reestablish himself within the organization. Who knows? You might see him again as a pitcher because again, we've said it all week. You can't keep all of these guys that are currently on the roster. He's trying to position himself to be one of the first guys up if somebody does get hurt.
The Leo DeVries angle from yesterday. Padres win or lose the trade. I can't even say that was a straight
Lost the trade.
face. Leo DeVries, former Padres #1 prospect, now with the A's. Singled twice, 19 years old, expected to start season in Double-A. Was dealt in the Mason Miller trade. My only takeaway from this is every time DeVries has a good performance, for the remainder of time, people are going to reopen the debate about the trade. It's going to be like that. It was like that. It's still like that for the Nationals. Even though the Nationals have now traded away the top pitching arm in that deal in Mackenzie Gore and had put C.J. Abrams on the trade block, and the fact that Robert Hassel III hasn't panned out into anything, it's always going to be the conversation. I'd still rather have Mason Miller at this point in time because of where you're at in your window. Leo DeVries could have a really good career. It's going to be in Vegas. Who knows? And maybe he'll be traded again. I mean, look at Washington. Bad organizations continue to do bad things. So who knows about the Leo DeVries angle, but he looked pretty good yesterday in a spring training game. Take that for what it's worth.
Can you stop knocking our talking points in a couple of years, please? Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to bring up those debate topics to be able to kill an hour of show on caller-driven content. So
based on the fact that people have their memories are not as good, I don't think anybody's remember we had this conversation.
That's fair.
Frank, we don't even have people that listen to us currently bringing up stuff.
Right, but we have the ability to record this stuff, and it's being recorded and it's being archived on the interwebs for people to throw back in our faces when we're sitting here wondering, did the Padres make the right decision in trading for Mason Miller and using Leo DeVries? They are going to come back to conversations like we had today to prove us wrong, saying we're just perpetuating a stupid argument.
Nobody's going to do that. They're not. You're really trying to force this here. You're really trying to force it. Yeah, as Nate says. Yeah, there you go. World's smallest violin.
Can you just go with the bit for 5 seconds?
No, because I don't want to go with this bit. It's trying to help future Frank in 4 years plan a show. I'm not going with that bit. I'm putting my foot down on said bit. Some big picture themes that are starting to emerge for the Padres right now in camp. Offense has been slow out of the gate. Does anybody really debate that? They've been kind of slow out of the gate. We haven't seen a lot of it of the stars really do anything. A lot of them are now going to be playing in the WBC. So we'll see how they do there. I don't really want to dive into the weeds on some of these particular stat lines because it doesn't matter. But their offense has been slow. Several non-roster adept players have been outperforming expected starters, but at the same time, they have to, right? They have to, where the stars don't really have to at this time. Michael King, not sharp yesterday, but I thought he looked really good in the first game. So I can't really, if it was 2 bad outings in a row, Frank, maybe you get suspicious, but I don't think this is anything that's relatively concerning as the guy tries to get ready for the season.
He's working on stuff. That's really all it comes down to, is he's working on stuff. He's trying to figure out pitches. If this is a time where if you throw a pitch and it comes out wrong, you're shaking off your catcher. Hey, I'm throwing this pitch until I make the adjustment and figure it out, So if he throws like 10 sliders in a row, he's trying to work on something with that slider. There's something that's not working, and he's trying to figure it out. So that's all I chalk it up to. He was working on stuff yesterday.
And they're going to continue to work on stuff throughout spring training. We're going to talk about some of the goals that Michael King has set out to have this season. It was a good article by Kevin Acey. We're going to take a deeper dive into that later on in the noon hour. But when we come back, we're going to talk more about overall Major League Baseball. There's a lot going on in Major League Baseball. And what ESPN did last week is they put together the best lineups in Major League Baseball. Where are the Padres at? How does it stack up? We'll get you a full breakdown coming up at 11 o'clock. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 to the Fan are brought to you by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Hour number 2 of the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to dive into a little bit more of Major League Baseball. No, we did not have a chance to talk about Merrill Kelly claiming he chose to go back to Arizona over the Padres because of California taxes. We did not discuss that.
He's also hurt now too, so it really wouldn't make a difference.
The thing is like this: the California teams already have to offer more money to be competitive with states that don't have a federal or that don't have state income tax. I mean, they all have to pay federal income taxes still, and that's just basically where you play. So he's signing up to have 81 games minimum in California, plus all the other teams that they would play in California, which would be games against the Giants, which is an extra 6 or 7 games against San Francisco, plus an extra 6 or 7 against the Dodgers. But he has to deal with that anyway. Like when Merrill Kelly plays on the road in California, he has to pay state income tax. But if you're a guy like Merrill Kelly and you don't want to pay, you want to get more money back, I don't, I understand where he's coming from. Because he could live in Arizona right now. He's a player. And guess what he could do after he's done playing, Frank? He can move to California.
Yes, that he can.
He can. I mean, it's a business thing. And that was one of the deciding factors for him. People care about that. Some people don't. People care about paying taxes over, too much in taxes for sunshine. People would rather enjoy the weather. It's up to you. There's different ways to view it. So he ends up signing with Arizona, which I think he's from there, isn't he not? I'm pretty sure he's got a house there. I mean, he's been there before. It was going to be tough for him to leave.
Not my week to watch.
He was born in Houston, but he did move to Arizona. He grew up in Arizona. He went to Desert Mountain High School in Scottsdale, and then he actually went to Yavapai College after. So the guy's been in Arizona for a long time. He obviously likes Arizona. I mean, that's probably even bigger factor. Like Arizona probably matched it where their deal was more lucrative in terms of taxes. Like when you factor in the taxes of like what his take home was, Arizona's deal was probably more, slightly or very close to California's deal, whatever the Padres offered, and he gets to stay home. He went to Desert Mountain High School, Yavapai College, and Arizona State. He got drafted 3 times. All 3 in Arizona. So I don't see a problem with it. But as Frank said, he got hurt now. So you can't even have you can't even be upset of I wish we had him. He's banged up. Let's get to what's going on in Major League Baseball. ESPN.com's Bradford Doolittle ranked all of the lineups in Major League Baseball and, preseason. And we're going to kind of go division by division to talk about some of the other teams and the other things in baseball that are going on. And we'll start, Frank, with the East, American League East and the NL East. We'll talk about these lineups, who's going to have good ones, and when they play the San Diego Padres. A little bit of a schedule preview for you as well. Let's get to the East.
So right now, let's get have a little fun with that. It's been a while since we played the MLB bed music. So for right now, the AL East, looking through right now the top lineups, the Toronto Blue Jays currently have the top lineup in the American League East. They're ranked number 5 in baseball, and they're projected to have 84.1 wins this season. They're a heavy contact, aggressive, and deep lineup with a lot of depth. Their weakness, though, is their patience. They very much so have a swing first, ask questions later approach.
Yeah, they're built to ambush fastballs and to do damage early in the counts. They've replaced Bo Bichette with Kazuma Okamoto, but the lineup as laid out, George Springer, Addison Barger, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk, Dalton Varsho, Jesus Sanchez, Kazuma Okamoto, Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez. Not a bad lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. I I don't know if it's top 5 in Major League Baseball, but they got the hit level as an A-, power's a B-. The patience with a lot of these teams is going to be low. They got a D+. They also got an A for depth, as you mentioned before. They said they have 3 holes in their lineup and 4 stars in their lineup. But the big question is, can the aggressive offense repeat without elite on-base percentage? That's going to be a factor for the Blue Jays this year. They will play the Padres here at Petco Park July 10th through the 12th. I like the Blue Jays lineup. I don't know if it's the best, not only in their division, but I don't know if it's the top 5 lineup in baseball.
No, it is a very solid lineup. I think they might be ranked a little bit too high here. Up next, it'll be the New York Yankees. They have the number 8 ranked lineup in baseball, which puts them number 2 in the American League East, projected 83.3 wins, 3 true outcomes on steroids, not literally. Strength, number 1 in power and number 1 in patience. Their weakness, though, is everyday average. And just listen to this lineup here. Trent Grisham, who's doing what he's doing because he's playing at Yankee Stadium. Arson Fudge, Cody Bellinger, Ben Rice, Giancarlo Stanton, who should probably learn how to open a bag of chips before the season starts. Jazz Chisholm, Ryan McMahon, Anthony Volpe, and Austin Wells. If I'm honest here, only 2, 3, and 4 in that lineup really scare me. 6 has the potential with Chisholm, but I'm not scared of this lineup as much as people think they are.
They got 3 stars and they got 5 holes. Is what Bradford Doolittle thought. I think they probably have 3 stars and 5 holes too, to be honest with you. I mean, is Giancarlo Stanton going to play this year? Right? I mean, I'm not that afraid of Jazz Chisholm Jr. We'll see how he does for Great Britain. Ryan McMahon in the year 2026. Anthony Volpe has continued to not live up to the expectations that people thought he was going to be. Is Trent Grisham going to be able to continue the success that he has had in New York? I think it's an okay. I think it's an okay lineup. I don't think it's that great though. They give him an F for hitting.
Yes, they should.
Patience A+, power A+, base running B-, durability a D. That should be an F too.
Okay.
I don't know how this team's a top 10 lineup in baseball. They're okay. They're not great.
Let's be fair.
This isn't a typical Yankees lineup. This isn't a George Costanza help-made lineup here, Frank.
This is a lineup that you're talking about A+ in power. The lines are 200 feet away. So, of course, they're going to get an A+
deepest
in
gaps.
power.
Deepest gaps in baseball. I got to hear that from Yankees fans. We got the deepest gaps, man.
Cool.
Careful what you say, buddy.
Cool.
The deepest gaps in baseball. Have fun.
Balls flew farther out down the line at the Polo Grounds than they do at Yankee Stadium. So let's calm down here. No, this is not a scary lineup, and every Yankee fan knows that they're going to the World Series as the American League representative. They're not. They just are not.
Bradford Doolittle gives the lineup an 83.3. Lineup wins.
That's cool.
I'll take the under.
Number 12 ranked in baseball, number 3 in the division is the Baltimore Orioles, 83 wins on the nose. Take and rake, old school slug. Their strength is their patience and power. Their weakness is their health and the seeming regression of Adley Rutschman. Their projected lineup will be Gunnar Henderson, Taylor Ward, Adley Rutschman, Pete Alonso, Jordan Westberg, Jackson Holliday, Dylan Beavers, Samuel Basallo, and Colton Cowser. That is their projected 9.
They give him a C- for hitting, an A- for patience, and a B+ for power. Durability, not great either. I kind of agree with the Adley Rutschman thing. I think this lineup in particular lives and dies with Adley Rutschman in terms of his success. If he can go back to what he was, this is a very scary lineup in Baltimore. And I think it's probably rivals the Blue Jays in terms of top in the American League East. But can they get Rutschman back to what he was before and prevent the regression of Adley Rutschman, if you will? But I take my chances with Baltimore's young lineup that might have a lot of potential future stars, Frank.
If Adley Rutschman is regressing, why are you hitting him third?
Correct.
when you have Pete Alonso sitting right behind him. It doesn't make sense. And Jordan Westberg's even a better hitter at this point than Adley Rutschman. I'd move Rutschman down to 5 at this point in the lineup. But
how about the Boston Red Sox, where they've made a youth movement? A lot of names on the list that are athletic. They've spent some money during the offseason, but only 19 in baseball.
Yeah, 19th in baseball. Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, Jaron Duran, Wilson Contreras, Wilyer Abreu, Caleb Durbin, Marcelo Mayer, Cedon Rafaela, and Carlos Narvaez, the projected lineup for Boston.
The lineup is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of upside, but there's not a lot of guaranteed success there. I mean, Roman Anthony, upside. Wilyer Abreu, upside.
Marcelo
Mayer, upside. Cedon Rafaela, upside. You've got some aging vets in there too with Wilson Contreras and Trevor Story, but you don't have Bregman and you don't have Devers, and you had both of them going into the first part of the year last year. There's a lot of risk, so the lineup is probably a little bit lower than it should be, but it's still not a top 15 lineup in baseball.
No, and for the Tampa Bay Rays, top 21 is where they fall in to round out the American League East. Gavin Lux, Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero, Cedric Mullins, Jake Fraley, Taylor Walsh, Chandler Simpson, and Nick Fortes, the projected 9 for Tampa, who will be back in their own home.
Maybe the Trop can help them out. They got 4 depth. They got 4 holes in that lineup. And who's their Yandy Diaz is good. Gavin Lux. I mean, how many teams has Gavin Lux been on since he was on the Dodgers? It's his 3rd team now. And usually when the Dodgers cast you off, it never really works out too much for you after the fact. Cody Bellinger, it's worked out a little bit, but a lot of the other guys, not really. They're not going to be very good. But every time I think the Tampa Bay Rays aren't going to be very good, Frank, they end up putting together some full season out of their ass. But it ain't going to be from their lineup. It might be from pitching that you've never heard of before.
They have a couple of good young guys. Like Aranda is going to be fine. Caminero is going to be fine. That Simpson kid is also supposed to be really good. But they're a little too early on Simpson, I think. And it's going to be a little iffy for them.
Real quick before we get to the NL East, I mentioned Padres will play the Yankees on September 4th to the 6th here at Petco Park. They will be in Baltimore against that Orioles lineup June 12th to the 14th. They'll be in Boston the first weekend, road weekend of the year. It'll be the Red Sox opening day weekend, April 3rd to the 5th. And they'll be down in Tampa in August 28th to the 30th. That makes it, you know what, if you're the Padres, it's great that you get to go down to Tampa with the Trop back in August. It's a lot better than what they would have to do before. Let's get to the NL East.
National League East. This might change a little bit. Best lineup in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, that probably was the Atlanta Braves.
87.6 projected wins this season. Their lineup,
Profar batting cleanup in that lineup.
Their lineup is Acuna, Baldwin, Olsen, Profar.
Scratch that one off.
Riley, Albies, Harris, Yastrzemski, and Kim.
Scratch him off. I mean, Kim's supposed to miss the first 3 to 4 months of the year, right? Is he supposed to miss half the season?
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, drop Atlanta. They ain't gonna be like that. Even with that lineup, it was gonna be better than last year, Frank, but it wasn't gonna be the second best lineup in baseball.
I need the Wile E. Coyote falling off a cliff sound effect right now.
6 stars, 0 holes. You probably got a lot more holes on that roster
just
than you
a couple.
would think. I mean, really, Mike Yastrzemski still?
This article was only written last week, too.
Last week, they knew Kim's not coming back for a long time. If the Braves lineup stays mostly healthy, it's stacked. We haven't seen the Braves stay healthy in years. It's been years. Padres will play the Braves at Petco Park June 22nd to the 24th. They'll be in Atlanta July 20th to the 23rd. On to the next one, which I think now is the best lineup in that division.
Oh, thank you, buddy. That would be the New York Mets. 86.2 wins projected. Lineup: Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, Jorge Polanco, Marcus Semien, Brett Beatty, Francisco Alvarez, Luis Robert Jr., and Carson Benj. Now, Lindor is still a question mark. They just spoke about him today. Carlos Mendoza did. saying that he's trying to get ready for opening day. The big question right now is going to be whether he can hit with the injury that he had, the surgery that he just had. But it's looking good that he might not miss too much time if he does miss opening day.
Do you have any qualms with that lineup? Would you move it around at all?
Nothing too crazy. Honestly, I think that lineup looks fine to me.
It could use Pete Alonso, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Mets have a really good lineup. I think they got a really good lineup. You got Luis Robert Jr. I know you're taking a risk on him. You got Luis Robert Jr. batting 8th. You could do a lot worse than having Luis Robert Jr. bat 8th, right? The Mets are going to have a pretty solid team this year. And with the Braves getting beat up again, it's going to be Philly and New York, and that's going to be a fun race in the NL East. The New York Mets will be in town June 5th to the 7th. Padres will be in New York August 17th to the 19th. On to the next one. Philadelphia.
I hate you so much for that.
That
And
was
remember,
good. No, that snuck up on you.
And remember, the name on the back is not the problem 99.9% of the time with the Mets. It's the name on the front. The Phillies, 83.3 projected wins. Their lineup currently sitting is Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, Adolis Garcia, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto, and Justin Crawford. I believe they just had an injury, too, that kind of hurt that depth a little bit.
I can't believe the durability they gave him was a high letter grade of a B. That lineup speaks old to me.
Yeah, you don't
Trey
know
Turner, older. Kyle Schwarber, older. Bryce Harper, older. Brandon Marsh, older. I mean, they got a couple of young guys. JT Realmuto, older.
You don't know what you're going to get out of Adolis Garcia.
No. He was a wild card. He was great in Texas, and then he was not great in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they decided to go with Adolis Garcia over Nick Castellanos. That team strikes me as old. They're not as scary as they used to be. I don't think they're that high of a lineup. You know, the base running's probably solid with some of those guys, but I don't think they're not going to have a lot of power. And I don't think the durability of that team is as good as what they're making it out to be.
No, I agree.
Padres will play the Phillies May 25th to the 27th here at Petco Park. They'll be in Philadelphia June 2nd to the 4th. Let's not spend too much time on the Nationals.
Yeah, I was going to say we go from three Astros,
3 top 10
lineups to 2 of the bottom 3. Nats have C.J. Abrams, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Dalen Lyle, Luis Garcia Jr., Keibert Ruiz, Brady House, Nasim Nunez, and Jacob Young. The Marlins are going to be throwing out Jacob Marcy, Xavier Edwards, Kyle Stowers, Augustine Ramirez, Griffin Conine, Otto Lopez, Liam Hicks, Connor Norby, and Owen Casey.
I heard a lot of Padres prospects on both of those lineups. A ton of them.
Yes.
Absolutely a ton of them. And they got ranked 28th and 29th in baseball. And everybody continue to complain about A.J. Preller trading away top prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are 2 teams loaded with Padres prospects. 2 out of the 3 worst lineups in all of baseball. I think the Marlins are going to be better than the Nationals. How about this excerpt? The Nationals have James Wood and some collective speed. The cupboard isn't completely bare, but it's not very good either. Padres will be in Washington, D.C. May 29th to the 31st. They will host the Nationals September 7th to the 9th. They'll be down in Miami July 24th to the 26th, and then they'll host the Marlins in September. September's schedule for the Padres isn't too bad, by the way. It's not crazy. Difficult. That's the East. What's the Central look like? American League Central and the National League Central. Cubs lineup's pretty deep, pretty durable, pretty stable. Are they the team to beat in the Central? Brewers might have something to say about it. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. We're inside 2 months left in the regular season, 43 days, 158 meaningful games. And here's the biggest headline. There is no dominant team right now in the NBA. 6 teams can legitimately say they're the best in basketball, and none of them feel bulletproof. And let's run it, starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, defending champions, still first in the West. They are very deep. They play very good defense. They close out games. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is neck and neck in the MVP race. They also have a very good chance at winning 60 games again this season. However, they're not the 24-1 Oklahoma City Thunder anymore. San Antonio has beaten them 3 of 4 games, and they are the remaining schedule is brutal offensively. Denver twice, Boston twice, New York twice. Also, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has not played since the 3rd of February with an abdominal strain, and that really has mattered.
Number 2 team that could potentially be the most dominant team in basketball is there's 6 of them that might be able to do it. Denver Nuggets, I mean, they have the highest ceiling in the league. I mean, Nikola Jokic is averaging basically a triple-double again. Jamal Murray is healthy, and he's playing his best regular season ball. And if they're whole, nobody wants that matchup. But the problem is they're not whole. They're very fragile. Worst defensive numbers also among contenders, 116 allowed. 3-6 in their last 9, and they have the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA, a 543 opponent win percentage to finish the season. This might come down to 3 head-to-head games with OKC deciding both the West and the MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look back in the East, the Detroit Pistons. Yes, the Detroit Pistons. Best team in the East. They've been the number 1 team in the East since November. They're 7-2 against Boston, Cleveland, New York. They're 20-7 against teams that are over 500. And Cade Cunningham is playing like a genuine MVP candidate. However, they've really been tested. They have not seen a Boston Celtics team at full health. Their 14 games remain. In 14 of their remaining home games are on the road. We'll know by the end of March if they're real. But right now, with Detroit, with their history, their recent history, just feels a little too early to crown them the best team in the East right now.
Cleveland Cavaliers seem to be the wild card. They added James Harden, and he's gone past first. We'll see how long that lasts, which unlocks Donovan Mitchell, who they're trying to keep during the summer. They have the easiest remaining schedule in the East with a 453 opponent win percentage. So those are all the pros of the Cavaliers potentially unlocking their chance to be the best team in the NBA. But the cons are they're still chasing Detroit and Boston in the Eastern Conference. And Evan Mobley has to show up offensively. He hasn't been there in the last handful of weeks. If Harden truly buys into the role that he is currently playing, they could be one of the most balanced teams left in the East and one that can make a run to the NBA Finals. But you got to worry about the Boston Celtics if you're the Cavs.
Yeah, absolutely. The most fascinating team so far in the league. They're second place in the East. They're on a 50-win pace, and they haven't had Jason Tatum all season. Jaylen Brown has elevated to MVP-level consistency. Joe Mazzulla might be the coach of the year. They've survived this season without their best player. However, Tatum is coming off of Achilles surgery. This isn't a sprained ankle. This does change the chemistry. And if he comes back seamlessly, I think right now is the big question. They might instantly become the favorite if they do. If it's awkward, it could possibly derail all of that momentum. And I know it's really odd to think of your best player coming back, breaking up the chemistry and derailing your whole season. But if you haven't played with him all season long, he's got to get into the swing of things with you guys more than you have to get into the swing of things with him. And that's looking like where it could go for the East. But the West has a very big surprise.
When you talk about the NBA MVP category, and we're going to get to that in a second, we talked about the other 2 teams in the Western Conference, Oklahoma City and Denver. But there's another team that's still lingering around. That's the San Antonio Spurs, and they are the scariest team right now. They have now won 9 straight games, 3 wins over OKC. Legitimately believe they can win it all. And with Victor Wembanyama and him playing like a Defensive Player of the Year lock and creeping into MVP conversations, it really sets up the Spurs to be part of this conversation. We're talking about SGA. We're talking about Jokic with the Nuggets and with the Thunder. But Wembanyama and the Spurs can not only infiltrate the Western Conference, but also add Wembanyama to the MVP race, which is something that's very scary. Now, here's the reality check, though. They haven't overtaken OKC yet, even though they've beaten them 3 times. They haven't been in the playoff pressure games yet, and they're ahead of schedule, but are they really ahead of the experience? That's going to be the big question for the Spurs. And as of right now, Frank, it's still SGA versus Jokic again for the MVP race.
It does look like that, and it literally might come down to just 3 games between those two. Nuggets versus Thunder, March and April, national TV, same floor. SGA, 31 points per game is elite efficiency, best team in the West. Jokic leading the league in rebounds and assists, nearly a triple-double, a double average. Here's the twist. SGA's hurt.
All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not big bank banking. It is better. Remember, listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suites at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97 through the Fan, SD.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on Static Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. We're going to have Sam Levitt on in the noon hour. And news about Walker Buehler getting a start in a Padres uniform. We will discuss that with him at noon. We are talking about a lot of the rosters throughout Major League Baseball, some of the best lineups according to ESPN.com. We've poked some holes in some already in the East for the American and National League. It's time to get to the Central, Frank. God, he loves that song.
Which one would you like to start with first? Would you like to start with the American League or the National
The
League?
American League. Let's knock them off.
Yeah, let's get through the most irrelevant league in all of professional sports.
The most irrelevant league. That's a hot take of mine that I think a lot of people agree with. Maybe it's not that hot. There is nothing more boring than an American League Central game at 9 in the morning on a Wednesday in the middle of the summer. There's nothing more boring than that in sports. Let's talk about the boring division.
If I gave you a guess, who do you think would be the highest rated lineup in the American League Central?
My guess would be the Detroit Tigers. Would probably be my guess.
You are incorrect.
I know I am, because I put this on the sheet today.
Why you gotta go behind the curtain, dude?
Is that the Wizard of Oz?
It's the Kansas City Royals.
Wow.
Have the best lineup.
Kathy in LA's Kansas City Royals.
Yes.
Best lineup in the division, and the most boring division on the planet in all of sports.
Lineup projected to be Mikhail Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, Salvi Perez, Jack Caglione.
I've never heard that. That's hilarious.
Jonathan India, Carter Jensen, Isaac Collins, and Kyle Isbell. Your projected lineup is supposed to get 81.6 wins.
Whoa, is Bo Jackson back?
Yes, he is.
Bo Jackson on this Royals team? Here's the bad news, though, for the Central. The Royals have the 14th best lineup, according to ESPN and Major League Baseball. That's the best lineup in the American League Central. They got a lot of young players. They're trying. I mean, I like what they've put together in terms of a lineup. I respect it. But they're experimenting with a lot, and I don't know if that's going to equal the results that they're hoping for. They're probably right where they need to be. Is it the best lineup in the division? I think the Tigers lineup is probably better. Padres will be in Kansas City July 17th to the 19th. It's solid. It's young. It's got some good players in it. I just don't think they're there yet.
No, they're not. Next up, even more surprising, I think, in 18th in baseball is the Minnesota Twins.
That's amazing.
Who got rid of everything that wasn't bolted down to the ship last year.
They traded everybody away. Oh, but they still have Byron Buxton, I guess. Here's the other thing, too, before you even continue. Who is the 3-hitter they have listed for the Twins that they rank second best in the division?
Don't get ahead of me here.
I'm asking you.
Let me get to the lineup here. The lineup is Byron Buxton.
Okay.
Luke Keeschel.
Who?
Josh Bell.
Excuse me?
Royce Lewis.
Wow, Royce Lewis, who's never healthy.
Ryan Jeffers. Matt Wallner. Victor Carantini. Trevor Larnach. And Brooks Lee.
1 star, 3 holes, according to ESPN.com.
What about the star 3 holes? What about the other 5? What about the other 5? What do you call the other 5?
I don't know. I mean, Royce Lewis is hurt all the time. Byron Buxton never makes it through an entire season. Josh Bell is their 3-hitter. I like Josh Bell. I liked when Josh Bell was a Padre. It's interesting that Josh Bell is trying to break a record for most teams played on in Major League Baseball history. But Josh Bell is your 3-hitter, and you have the audacity. Like the lady asking if we had a water problem this morning. You had that same audacity to rank this team ahead of the Detroit Tigers in terms of their overall lineup? What? Did they sign a rise and we didn't know? Did Joe Mauer come out of retirement? Are you kidding me? Come on. They're probably in the bottom 10 of Major League Baseball in terms of their lineup.
Number 22 is where you will find the Detroit Tigers.
I don't believe this. And you know what? It's funny that I don't believe this because
you also have to remember this is just the lineup.
I know.
It's not with the pitching. So the lineup itself is projected. It's already
better than the Royals and the Twins.
I agree. Parker Meadows, Gleyber Torres, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter, Wenzel Perez, Zach McKinstry, Dylan Dingler, and Colt Keith.
Dylan Dingler should just boost the lineup just by his name. Good old Dylan Dingler.
Why do you got him?
Good old Dylan Dingler, dude. Bradford Doolittle even writes in this ranking that he loves this profile because I'm certain it's going to be wildly off. No, Augie spells it Dillon. Dylan. Nice lineup, dude. The Tigers are going to be the best lineup in that division. Their lineup's probably 14. They should switch. They should put Kansas City down to 18. They should put the Tigers up to 14. And then they should put the Twins down to 22. And I think it's fair.
Can we just highlight what you just said?
What?
The guy wrote the lineup.
The
guy is excited that he wrote the lineup because he knows his prediction's going to be wrong.
Yeah. He says it's a hard thing to predict. For example, in 2 weeks, it might make sense to plug Kevin McGonagall in as an everyday player. Right now, it's probably jumping the gun. Yet McGonagall's forecast is one of the reasons why Detroit's depth rating is MLB's best. That's what Bradford Doolittle.
Can we please reinstate the embargo on ESPN?
No, because I want to watch Team USA today.
The Cleveland Guardians are number 26 in baseball.
Nate, worst team roster. Padres will take on that worst team roster for opening day. They're going to be hosting the Twins August 21st to the 23rd.
It's not that he's setting the bar low, Go Aztecs. He's not setting the bar low. He is intentionally putting out a bad prediction.
All right, Guardians and White Sox. Guardians got to be better than 26. They got Jose Ramirez,
Stephen Kwan, Gabriel Arias.
And Stephen Kwan. Oh, Gabriel Arias is number 2.
Gabriel Arias, Jose Ramirez, Kyle Manzardo, Reese Hoskins, George Valera, Chase DeLauder, Bo Naylor, and Brian Rocchio. The White Sox are following closely behind that at Chase Medroth, Kyle Teal, Colston Montgomery, Munetaka Murakami, Miguel Vargas, Austin Hayes, Andrew Benintendi, Edgar Cuero, and Brooks Baldwin.
I'd take both those lineups over the Twins. I would.
Oh, really?
I would. I would totally take both those lineups over the Twins.
National League Central coming to you at the other side of this break.
Yeah, because we got to get to break. Padres will play the White Sox May 1st to the 3rd. Get your tickets. We'll talk about the Central and we'll talk about the West later on in the show as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. Stay on Sports Station 97 through the Fan. It was a gritty, emotional week for the San Diego Gulls. 3 games, 2 overtimes, 4 total points on the table, and they grabbed 3 of them. And let's start at home. Overtime heartbreak versus Tucson. Gulls dropped a 2-1 overtime decision to the Roadrunners at Pechanga Arena, but it was another night where the goaltending stood tall. Callie Klang stopped 26 of 28 and flat out kept them in the game. Ryan Carpenter opened the scoring off of a feed from Justin Bailey. Carpenter now has 5 points in his last 4 games and 30 on the season. Tucson tied it late. They won it in overtime, but the Gulls still grabbed a point, and they're now 4-0-1-1 against Tucson this season, and that's not an accident.
No, absolutely not. They have been very, very good against Tucson. You could tell sometimes when a team just has your number, and it appears as though the Gulls just have the number of the Tucson Roadrunners.
On to the defensive statement in Texas. Then came the road trip. They knocked off the Texas Stars 2-1 in a disciplined playoff-style game. Klang again, rock solid. 28 of 29 saves. Now 13 wins on the season, 2.51 goals against average. Confidence is really radiating through this lineup.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Nathan Gauthier answered Texas's early goal in the second, matching last season's goal total already this year. Justin Bailey hit the game winner. Big stat now is Bailey has now has 18 goals. 6 of those 18 goals are game winners, which is tied for second in the entirety of the American Hockey League. That is clutch production. And head coach Matt McIlvain called it a sound defensive effort as well. And that's really starting to become the identity of the San Diego Gulls team.
Let's talk about this 6-5 overtime loss. The Saturday night, the chaos ensued. 6-5 overtime loss to Texas in a back-and-forth shootout. Power play goals, shorthanded rush but from Tyson Hines, 2 goals from Nicolas Brulard, a fight from Ronald McKeown, 30 saves from Thomas Susanik. This one had everything. They led, they trailed, they tied it late to force overtime, but Texas finished it still 3 of 4 points on the road in Texas. That's significant. You'll take it if you're the Gulls right now.
Yeah, that is a huge, huge swing as far as the points are, as far as the standings are concerned. We talked about it being buried down in 6th place, but being very, very close to a big swing, and to be able to take 3 out of 4 from Texas is absolutely huge for this season for the Gulls.
Bigger picture, the Gulls are defending better right now. They're getting elite level goaltending from Klang, and they're finding timely scoring. They rank first in the AHL in shots per game. They're disciplined. They're playing tighter defensively than earlier in the year, but they're still struggling to close out high event games. And when it becomes wide open, they give up too much. When it's tight and structured, they thrive. That's a maturity thing. But this is a team that's very young and a team that finally gets to settle in. We've talked about this a lot on the Goals updates. The Ducks are doing really well with young talent, and they are now a point out or a couple points out from first place in the Pacific Division, which means they don't have to keep pulling up players to help their team and compete at an NHL level. They have their core, and it's young, which means there's not a lot of places for these San Diego Gulls to go in advance. There might be a couple that come up and help and then come back down. But with that being said, this is a team that can finally start playing good hockey together as a unison. And now you might be getting sent down good players instead of sending all of your best players up to the NHL parent club.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that really stands out for me there is that they're ranking first in shots per game in the league. The more shots you get, the more likely it is for one of those shots to at least go in. And they've gotten a lot of timely goals, and we've seen over the last month or so of doing this, they've had a lot of high-scoring games, and a lot of that has to do with those high shot totals. So the fact that they're putting the puck on the net on a consistent basis night after night really shows how potent this offense is, and the fact that it's really helping them score goals. And also, you can't forget about the guy at the back.
Yeah, Klang's doing an unbelievable job for the Gulls this season. The Gulls currently in 6th place. That is a playoff spot. They have the lead over the Tucson Roadrunners, who are in the final playoff spot in the Pacific Division. And they've done really well against the Roadrunners, as I mentioned earlier in this update. They haven't lost to them yet in regulation. So something to pay attention to is they have 4 wins, no losses against the Roadrunners, 1 overtime loss and 1 shootout loss to Tucson. And they're right there in the thick of things in the Pacific Division. They're 12 games out of first place from Ontario, 11 from Colorado. But then you start looking, they're 6 points behind the Barracuda in 3rd place, which puts you in a position to host. And it's very beneficial for you in the AHL playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just 3 games. You get 2 points for a win. You get 1 point if you go into extra time, into overtime or a shootout.
Anybody care about the scores for the WBC teams against regular teams? This is always cool too when they do this because there's no like reserves to pull the studs out of these games. So they take minor leaguers from the team they're playing against to go in. So there's going to be a lot of minor leaguers for the Giants that replace the stars of the Team USA. They get to wear Team USA stuff today. That's pretty cool. That's got to be pretty cool for some of those guys. Is it not cool? I think it's kind of cool. Scores that involve WBC teams for spring training. The team Israel is up 1-0 on the Marlins. The Netherlands 8-2 on the Orioles. Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
There it is. How about that? Netherlands taking it to him. Leadoff guy for the Netherlands, Ditter. Then Rafaela. Bogart's batting third today. 1 for 4.
Phrasing.
That's his name, dude. Ditter. Ditter's 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, and RBI. You better put some respect on his name. Bogarts is 1 for 4, the punch out. Ozzie Albies 1 for 3 of the runs scored, RBI. Didi Gregorius. I forgot Didi Gregorius is on that team. That's the other thing, too, about this WBC is you get to see tons of like former players still playing, too.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands up 8-3, as I mentioned before. So it looks like Baltimore scored. Other games for you involving the WBC. The Blue Jays showing that they're really Team Canada. They're up 7-0 on Team Canada. Do any of the guys play for Team Canada? Do they have Sidney Crosby still out?
Oh, for God's
the Blue Jays. Do you think George Springer is wearing his Team USA stuff today for the Blue Jays against Team Canada after he was parading around spring training after Team USA won the Gold Cup game or the gold medal game?
I mean, of the notable names,
Naylor and O'Neill, Ofer.
Yeah, this is
Owen Casey, Ofer.
Josh and Bo are both in this lineup. Abraham Toro is in this lineup. Tyler Black, Tyler O'Neill, Owen Casey, Otto Lopez, Denzel Clark.
Former Padre Logan Allen goes 1 inning, allows 5 earned runs on 2 hits with 5 walks. 5 walks. He's not ready to be their ace.
I will forever appreciate Team Canada. Team Canada, though.
Why is that?
The first year of the pitch clock, I was kind of against it, and I'm like, this is kind of stupid. Canada played Great Britain in the WBC. That game started at noon, and I was here to do a Padres spring training game, which started at 1. There were 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning of the WBC game when the Padre game started. Granted, 9 runs had been scored between the 2 teams. They were going into the 3rd inning, like just starting the 3rd inning when the Padres were going into the 5th. Wow. I'm like, yep, I love the pitch clock. The pitch clock is the greatest thing to happen to baseball. So I will always thank Team Canada and Great Britain for that.
Colombia is getting smoked by the Pirates. Pirates up 5-0 on Colombia. Gio Urshela, 0 for today. Donovan Solano, 0 for today. Colombia. Take that. It's spring training for everybody, right?
Yes.
Panama's down 5-0 to the Yankees.
They're getting 1 hit by the Yankees.
Oh, not great. The Mets are also playing Nicaragua today.
Yes.
Tied at 2. Mm-hmm. Dusty Baker getting the best of the Mets, out hitting them 8-4. What's going on? It's everybody's spring training. Who does Nicaragua have?
Jeter Downs, Mark Vientos.
Oh, nice.
Ronnie Trulio, I believe that is. Yes, that's his first name, Ronnie Trulio.
Got to be weird for Mark Vientos right now, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
2-2. Nicaragua and the Mets.
It's Emmanuel Trulio, my bad.
Great Britain and the Brewers are about to start. Mexico and Arizona is about to start. Brazil and Los Oclamento is going to start. The Italians are playing the Cubs today.
Yeah,
that's
the
great.
motherland plays the Cubs today.
Cuba's got Kansas City. The United States is playing the Giants. The Dominican Republic are playing the Tigers today. Is that down in the Dominican?
That is going to be at Estadio Juan Marichal in Santo Domingo.
The Tigers are down in Santo Domingo. Puerto Rico is playing the Red Sox. Venezuela is playing the Astros today. And then there's there's actual games going on too. Tampa Bay's doing a split squad game. They got the Phillies and the Twins. Angels are playing the Mariners. Guardians are playing the Dodgers. The Padres play the White Sox. Everybody else is playing WBC teams. Tomorrow, the Padres will play Great Britain, and we will also see Chinese Taipei play Australia at 7:00 Pacific time for Game 1 of the WBC. We're going to talk more about the WBC later on in the show. I do want to get to these. Let's finish up the Central Division here with the National League Central, looking at the lineups out there, and letting you know when the Padres roll against one of these teams. So let's get to the National League Central.
Let's do that, shall we? So the Chicago Cubbies have the best lineup in the National League Central. They're projected for 83.8 wins this season, number 7 in baseball. That lineup would be Michael Busch, Alex Bregman, Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong, Nico Horner, Moises Ballesteros, Dansby Swanson, and Carson Kelly. Your starting 9 for the Cubbies.
I think the Cubs have the best lineup in that division. I really do. I think they're better than the Brewers.
I agree.
But every time with the Brewers, I underestimate them every year. And every year they seem to win the division. I don't know how they do it. They do it with a bunch of names you never heard of before. But they got good young players, the Milwaukee Brewers do. You're going to get to that here in a second. But to me, I think the Cubs have the best lineup. They're deep, they're durable, they're stable. Highest floor offense in the division. Padres will take on the Cubs April 27th to the 29th. And then on the road, June 29th to July 1st.
The aforementioned Milwaukee Brewers are number 15 in baseball. They're number 2 in the division. Jackson Chourio, Bryce Terang, William Contreras, Christian Yelich, Andrew Vaughn, Sal Frelick, Luis Rengifo, Garrett Mitchell, and Joey Ortiz. Your lineup for the Brewers.
I think that lineup's solid, but I don't think it's better than the Cubs.
No.
They don't have a lot of power either. They can hit. I don't see a lot of power. Contact and situational offense has carried them. Power dip looms. We'll see how they do in the power department. Padres will be in Milwaukee May 12th to the 4th. They will host the Brewers August 10th to the 12th. And then there's a massive drop-off in lineups.
Yes, there is. The Pittsburgh Pirates currently ranked number 23rd in baseball. Number 23, 23rd place. O'Neal Cruz, Brandon Lau, Brian Reynolds, Ryan O'Hearn, Osuna from the Pirates, Spencer Horowitz, Joey Bart, Jared Triolo, and Nick Gonzalez.
Osuna from the Pirates.
Can't say he's Osuna from the Braves now, can you?
No. Well, you can. Osuna, who came from the Braves.
True.
Osuna, who came from the Braves?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Osuna from the Pirates is fine.
I got to say, the top 4 is not bad.
No, it's
That's
not.
a pretty solid top 4. I think they're better than 23. If Marcell Ozuna can hit this year, they'll be probably middle-tier lineup. I think they're a lot better than 23. And I think they're just very top-heavy. Remember when Joey Bart was supposed to be the next Buster Posey?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't really work out, did it?
No,
I think the Pirates are getting overlooked a little bit. I think the Pirates lineup is solid. I think it's middle tier for sure. I think it's better than 23. I also think the Reds are way better than 24, by the way.
Yes, and they are number 24. TJ Friedel, Novelli Marte, Ellie De La Cruz, Eugenio Suarez, Sal Stewart, Tyler Stevenson, JJ Bleday, Matt McClain, and Ke'Bryan Hayes.
If Eugenio Suarez can continue what he did last year, not match it, but get somewhat close, they'll be a pretty good team in a ballpark that's pretty favorable to hitting. I don't think they're a top 10 lineup, I don't think they're a top 15, but they're somewhere between 15 and 20. I think they're getting overlooked a little bit. And then there's the Cardinals.
Yes, and then comes number 25.
Then comes the organization that has to give away free food for people to go to their games.
Listen, you give away free food. There's a lot of people going.
You know what? I didn't say it was a
baseball.
bad strategy.
The Cardinals right now are projecting Lars Nootbaar, Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn, J.J. Weatherholt, Jordan Walker, Pedro Pajes, and Victor Scott II to be your everyday starting nine.
Very young, very unproven lineup.
Yes.
Can they make it to the entire year as a young lineup? They're going to be, that lineup's going to be solid in a couple of years, but they're not there yet. And I think that's why they're going to be ranked as low as they are at 25 in Major League Baseball. I can't really disagree with that. The central divisions are not going to be that great. Let's move on to we'll get to the National League West later in the show, but I do want to knock out the American League West. And just to recap, the Padres will be in Pittsburgh after they play the Red Sox on April 6th and the 18th. They will host the Pirates August 24th to the 26th. They'll play the Reds here June 8th to the 10th, and then finish the season series against Cincinnati August 31st to September 2nd. And then against the Cardinals, got the Cardinals early at home May 7th to the 10th, and they'll play at the Cardinals in the middle of June, the 15th through the 17th. On to the American League West, where the Seattle Mariners have a pretty good lineup this year. Frank.
Yes, they are number 4 in baseball. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be Brendan Donovan, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Josh Naylor, Randy Arozarena, Dominic Canzone, Luke Raley, Cole Young, and J.P. Crawford.
That's a good lineup. That's a top 5 lineup in baseball for sure.
Yes.
I think that rivals the Mets for number 3. I think it's definitely better than the Blue Jays at 5. Based on where the Braves have fallen off, I would consider the Mariners a top 3 lineup, because I think the Mets and the Mariners have jumped into 2 and 3 in that potential spot. Padres get to play them twice as part of the Vetter Cup. They get the Mariners here. It's both early, by the way. The Padres will complete their season series against Seattle before they even play the Dodgers one time. So the Padres will play the Mariners April 14th to the 16th, and they'll be in Seattle May 15th to the 17th. On to the next one.
There you go.
Los Oclamento.
Yeah, I was going to... Thank you for letting me lead into that one. The Los Oclamento Athletics currently have the number 2 lineup in the National League West and number 6 in American League West, and number 6 in baseball. Think about that for a second. Nicholas Kurtz, Shea Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, Jeff McNeil, Jacob Wilson, Lawrence Butler, Max Muncy, and Denzel Clark.
They're like the Cardinals, but they have more experience now.
Yes.
And they have already they're more proven than the Cardinals have been with their young lineup. The A's are going to be offensively pretty good. They're going to be a lot better this year than they have been in years past. But we predicted that because they're going to Vegas soon, which means it's time to load up the roster.
Mm-hmm. Correct. One roster that's actually loading down is the Houston Astros. They're number 13 in baseball, number 3 in the division. Jeremy Pena, Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Carlos Correa, Yanir Diaz, Christian Walker, Joey Loperfido,
Gesundheit,
Zach Cole, and Jake Myers.
It's a solid lineup. I think they're going to be a solid team again. I think that division is going to be a lot better with the Mariners and the A's and the Astros. I really do. I think Texas can have a decent season too. That's a big reason why a lot of those teams are ranked in the same kind of area when it comes to their rosters. Padres will play the A's May 22nd to the 24th. They'll play the Astros August 7th through the 9th.
Texas Rangers are number 16 in the number 16 in baseball, 4 in the division. Brandon Nimmo, Wyatt Langford, Corey Seager, Jock Peterson, Jake Berger, Josh Jung, Josh Smith, Danny Jansen, and Evan Carter.
Very new look offense. I would consider middle of the road. They do have some age there, but they do have a lot of proven veterans on that team as well. So they might be a little bit better than people think. For the Angels, is it just Mike Trout and hope? Basically,
no, they got some decent players on here. Zach Neto being one of them. He's projected your leadoff hitter. Nolan Shanuel, Mike Trout, Yohan Moncada, Joe Adell, Josh Lowe, Jorge Soler, Logan O'Hoppe, and Christian Moore. That is the starting 9 for the Angels.
There's a lot of guys on that list that are what could have been players. Joe Adell, Yohan Moncada.
Mm-hmm.
I think Christian Moore is a stud.
Yeah,
he might help them out a little bit, but the Halos are going to be bad. And it's mostly going to be for the pitching side of things. Padres will be in Anaheim April 17th through the 19th. When we come back, Sam Levitt will join us to get a recap of what's going on in Padres spring training. Walker Buehler scheduled to make a start this week. We'll talk more about it next.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? It's the noon lunchtime hour brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at two locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. We got a lot to get to here in the noon hour, and we started off on our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. It's the coverage of spring training brought to you by Sam Levitt, who's brought to you by the gentleman at David P. Shapiro's criminal defense attorneys. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We got Sam on the phone today as he's out there in the Peoria area. Actually, they're at Camelback Ranch today, Padres and White Sox, which is about to get started. Sam, what's going on? How's the spring training affair treating you today?
Braden, I'm good. I'm not at Camelback Ranch today because I am joining Mr. Matt Scraby at 2 p.m. for the start of Gwynn and Chris for a couple of hours. So that takes priority today. But you are correct. Padres getting set moments away from taking on the Chicago White Sox at Camelback Ranch. Nick Pivetta making the start. And aside from that, a pretty usual day of spring training today as far as the morning work, and all is pretty well.
We're talking with Sam Levitt, who's out there in Arizona covering spring training for us and for the San Diego Padres. And Sam, when talking about some of the storylines from yesterday, I know you were on with Gwynn and Chris, so I didn't get to see too much, but I thought you brought up a good point on the morning show that we then talked about later on our show at the beginning part of today. But just if you want to look at a reason why you don't want to dive too far into stats in a spring training game, look no further than what happened to Nick Castellanos yesterday. But aside from statistics, Castellanos putting together some pretty good at-bats and learning how to play first base on the fly.
Yeah, he is. And I think to this point, the first base experiment for him has gone about as well as you could hope. I know there have been, moments and drills that even I posted a video of that haven't looked super pretty. But I think when you're talking about a player that's literally 2 weeks into learning a brand new position as intricate as first base, to this point, I think he's done a really, really nice job. And offensively, he's had some nice moments as well. So, so far so good for Nick. I think he's been good to deal with so far. And his teammates have certainly said all the right things about him. So, both on the field and in the clubhouse to this point, I think it's been a really good experience. And at first base, he has looked for 2 weeks in, literally, to learning a brand new position and maybe the hardest position to learn on the field. He has been serviceable, and I think gives you quite a bit of hope that he's going to be able to handle himself there. We'll see how he continues to progress.
From a pitching standpoint, I think a lot of people are, we like to overreact to spring training results. Obviously, you and I and Frank and all the other shows have tried to talk people off the ledge. I think some people were a little bit worried about Michael King and his command yesterday. But as you've mentioned before, and as the reports have come out, the biggest takeaway from Michael King and his outings right now are, how are you feeling? And do you feel good enough to keep going? And it's more of a health thing than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I really would encourage people not to worry about results on March spring training start, especially when you're the quality of pitcher that Michael King is when he's healthy. Now, look, I think the thing with King throughout this spring and throughout the season, the quote-unquote question is going to be with him is, can he stay healthy throughout the year, which was, a problem last year? And number two, how does the fact that he only threw 72 innings affect him and the Padres throughout the season, right? I think when you've heard rumblings about the Padres maybe using a six-man and things like that, I do think that's partially a reflection on Joe Musgrove coming off Tommy John and having some sort of innings cap. Michael King only throwing 72 innings last year. But I think with King in particular, the bottom line is you want him to just be healthy. We know what a healthy Michael King can be. I mean, he can be one of the best starting pitchers in the game when he's healthy. And look, with the innings part of it, yeah, that may be a discussion throughout the season because is he going to go out there and throw 200 innings after throwing 72 last year? I don't know. Seems maybe a little bit unlikely. So they're going to have to manage through that and I suppose in a way monitor that. But I think right now, this time of year for Michael, you want him to feel good, feel healthy, get to opening day healthy, and hopefully be the guy that you saw in 2024 that stayed healthy and obviously was terrific.
Talking about the bullpen a little bit and some other pitching side of things from yesterday, Logan Gillespie had a great outing for the Padres yesterday. 2 2/3 of perfect innings. It was his first outing after the birth of his first child. Very sharp return for Logan Gillespie. He's battling for what I think a lot of people think is an opportunity should one show up with the bullpen based on some injuries that might start with opening day. And he's a guy that's out of options. That's a pretty good way to start your spring campaign.
Yeah, for sure. And Craig Stammen went out of his way to mention him today. And look, he's probably not a guy that we focused on a ton, but, I'll put him in like the same category of let's say a Mason McCoy, okay, on the position player side. I mean, this is a guy who has been up a lot over the course of the last couple of seasons and has, pitched quite a bit in a Padres uniform. I understand those spots generally have not been very high leverage, but meanwhile, he's a guy who's been around. So to see him go out there and have a really nice opening to the Cactus League season, I think was encouraging. I think that the situation, Braden, with the bullpen is going to be interesting as we come down the final few weeks here in this sense. Jason Adam feels really good off the mound. He also now, and congratulations to him and his wife, they gave birth to their fifth child, another daughter. It's now 5 daughters for Jason Adam and his wife. So he's been out of camp the last couple of days for obviously a very good reason. But on the baseball field for Jason, look, he feels good. He's eyed opening day. I think it's still very much to be determined if that's going to be a reality or not, that he will be on the opening day roster. And not necessarily because he's not physically able to pitch yet, but I think they may want to be careful with him. That's the sense I get, is that he may want to be on the opening day roster, but the Padres might want to slow play it a little bit because he's so important to them when you talk about the course of the season and late in the year and keeping him healthy. So you look at Adam. Is Yuki Matsui going to be ready? You don't know the answer to that. Brian Hoeing obviously going down with the elbow discomfort. You would imagine is going to keep him out for some pretty significant period of time when you're talking about an elbow. So the point is, all of a sudden, you could be in a scenario, depending on what the status of Adam and Matsui are, where there could be 2-3 bullpen spots open as far as opening day. And a guy like Logan Gillespie, who's been in the major leagues, who's a 40-man guy, certainly would have a shot to take one of those spots. I think that's very, very realistic. So for him to go out there and do what he did yesterday, for him, I think was a pretty big deal. And there is a world where they do have to, at least at the start of the season, fill 3 bullpen spots if Adam, Matsui aren't ready. So we'll see. It's a name that we should certainly keep in mind and a name that we probably don't focus on enough when we have these conversations.
We're talking with Sam Levitt, who's out there in Arizona getting ready for the afternoon show. It's going to start the afternoon show off with Matt Scraby after we are done here during the midday. Padres just got underway with Chicago in another spring training game. But as we talk with you, Sammy, let's talk about some new announcements on some players that haven't gotten into a Cactus League game yet that will be playing in a real baseball game. Obviously, we knew the news about Joe Musgrove a couple of days ago that he's going to start against Great Britain tomorrow. We also found out, as you reported on social media, that Walker Buehler is going to get a start on Thursday. What are some of the goals that you might have heard of, or what are maybe the limitations of some of these guys about, Joe Musgrove and Walker Buehler getting an opportunity now to play in real actual games here in the Cactus League?
Yeah, I think we'll start with Joe. He'll start tomorrow against Great Britain. It'll be good to see Joe back on not a Cactus League mound per se, it's a Cactus League game. You get my point. Back on the stadium mound and facing hitters, and I think for Joe it's another step in his progression towards being ready for his first start of the year in late March. So that's good. Joe continues to progress well, and everything has been good and on track for him. As far as Walker Buehler, tell you what, it's interesting. I mean, he went out there, I think it was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I'm talking about, yeah, it was definitely Saturday, against the KBO's NC Dinos. And not only did he throw 40-something pitches, but it was a good day for Walker Buehler from all accounts. And the velocity, especially early in his outing, was at a good spot, a spot they liked, both him and the Padres staff. So, to me, it's gone well for Walker Buehler so far. The everything that was coming out of that game against the Dinos was positive, especially when you talk about where the velocity was at the beginning of the outing. So to see where it is come Thursday in a Cactus League game, I would imagine it will be a pretty good lineup for the Mariners, considering it's basically a home game for them in Peoria. That's going to be an interesting outing for Walker Buehler. And if he continues to, I think velocity-wise especially, continues to be at a place where they like and has good results, it's going to be very, very interesting to see where he stands in this race for a rotation spot. So everything from over the weekend with Walker and to this point, I think has been very positive, and I do think it's a pretty intriguing start for him on Thursday against the Mariners for sure.
I'm excited to see it, to be honest with you. I mean, if they can get 85% of what Walker Buehler was in Los Angeles, I feel like he has to make this roster come opening day, which also throws in Armand Marquez, who we haven't talked about yet in a Cactus League game. And maybe you already had this report out there. I must have missed it if you did. Do we got anything more on Armand Marquez pitching in a stadium game, if you will?
Yeah, not really. I mean, he obviously had up and down results. We'll see how it progresses. Not a ton to take away from it, as far as beyond the fact that it was just up and down. But again, we talked about this a little bit. I think these first Cactus League outings, I really think they kind of come with a grain of salt, and I think they evaluate them internally that way as well. I will make one more point on Buehler that I didn't mention, and I think one thing that's really interesting when you talk about Buehler and now working with a very well-regarded Padres pitching group in Ruben Niebla and Ben Fritz and the rest of the guys that work on that staff. I get a real sense that it's not only about like the velocity, and obviously that's going to be important for Walker to see where that is as we get deeper into spring training. But, I think he's still in the process of figuring out kind of who the new version of Walker Buehler is. I mean, this is a guy that's gone through a lot of health stuff, gone through a lot of stuff with his arm. He's not throwing as hard as he once did when he came up with the Dodgers, and he acknowledges that. And I think it's very much still, even as this spring rolls along, and you can kind of see it day to day, a process of him figuring out what that next chapter of him as a pitcher is going to look like. And obviously the results in Boston were not great last year. He then went to Philly, had a few outings that were better. What can you take away from that? I don't know. But to me, that's part of sort of the fascination with Walker Buehler right now. Not only, where is his velocity, and the fact that he's a notable name and has had success. And yes, he was, closing out a World Series for the Dodgers and all that. But also, I think it's intriguing to kind of see, like, can the Padres help Walker Buehler reinvent himself? And if they can do that, it's going to end up being, I think, a pretty intriguing and cool story. So I know I kind of went back to Buehler there, but he continues, I think, for a lot of us to be a pretty interesting character among the mix here at spring training.
Yeah, I mean, these are two guys that have done very well against the San Diego Padres over the last handful of years, and two guys that have been at the height of pitching in Armand Marquez and in Walker Buehler. And the thing is and when we start to see Armand Marquez maybe start to get some action, and if he continues to progress or gets to the point that maybe Walker Buehler is at, how much do those two and the starting rotation really force the Padres' hand on what they decide to do in terms of how many bullpen arms that they keep? Now, knowing that those guys don't have options, you don't want to give up on Randy Vasquez. I mean, it's a lot of conversation about a 5-man versus 6-man rotation. How much of that is dictated by how well the starting pitchers do, more so than just how loaded the bullpen is?
Yeah, I'll first touch on the 5-man versus 6-man. Something that Ruben Niebla said to me over the weekend, which was interesting, was that there's been more talk about the 6-man externally outside their room than maybe there's been internally. So, that kind of made it sound to me like maybe we're all making a little bit too much of, like, there could be a 6-man at the start of the year. Now, keep in mind, you could also very well have situations, and we've seen this before, where it's early in the year and you want to give Joe an extra day. You want to give Michael an extra. You want to give everybody an extra day. And let's say they have an early stretch where I think it's 10 games in 10 days. Yeah, you could throw in a guy to give everybody an extra day, which is not that out of the ordinary. So, you could see a little bit of a quote-unquote 6-man with an extra guy in there at times. But, the more that it's kind of talked about, I don't know that we're going to see them come out with a quote-unquote true 6-man rotation out of the gate. I don't get that sense, but could you see guys thrown in? I'm sure that is a possibility, especially when you go through kind of stretches with no off days and that kind of scenario. But, Braden, it's a good question. I mean, I think first and foremost, when you're talking about guys like Marquez and Buehler, and you can have the same conversation about position players, when you talk about those guys forcing the Padres' hand, I think first and foremost, those guys got to show something, right? And
right.
I think it's still to be determined, what the feeling of them actually is once you get to the end of spring training. Like, I'll use Marquez as an example. I think Marquez falls in the category of somebody they're trying to work with and mold a little bit, right? Like, he's got a new changeup he's working with, and he's coming off, what was kind of a couple of years where he was coming off Tommy John, and he doesn't sound like he was fully healthy. So, I think it's an interesting question. I think you have to see if those kinds of guys do indeed force their hands, and then, ultimately, you may have to make a decision on, let's say, some of your bullpen arms that are out of options, or Matt Waldron who's out of options, or anybody that that is out of options, and you're going to have to put on waivers if you want to clear spots on the 40-man. You're going to have to make those decisions. So I think at this point we're still a bit of a ways away from that, having clarity. And I think both, just in the cases of Marquez and Buehler, I still think it's for the Padres. They're in an evaluation process with those guys, but make no mistake about it, to your point, when it comes down to, March 23rd and they're deciding who's breaking camp and who potentially is going to, go down to AAA, who potentially would have opt-outs, those are all going to be very interesting decisions, but I think we're still a little bit of a ways away from having clarity.
Sam, I appreciate the time, and I got a busy day today on the afternoon show. We'll look forward to hearing you on the drive home. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
I know. Too much time with Matt Scraby. I mean, they just got me.
You know
too
what?
much time with Matt Scraby.
You know what? We got to ask, since you are part of the noon lunchtime hour, I'm just going to start asking you and Scraby if you've been to Craft Taco yet, since it's one of the sponsors of our noon hour. So Frank's been, so now I got to get you to go when you come back.
That's a good question. I don't think I have. I don't think Where is Craft Taco? I should probably know this as their sponsor. Where is Craft
Sereno Valley, which is not, it's close to the water. It's close to, I mean, you're not going to be able to see the water from the area, but it's a nice area by the water. You can go to Torrey Pines, hike Torrey Pines. They go get a taco, Craft Taco. It's great. They also, if you know what, Sam, if you want to go be studious and enjoy the Natural History Museum, you could get a Craft Taco at the Natural History Museum. They're located there as well.
Wow, I've not been there. Okay, I'll have to check it out when I get back. I don't think I've been. So I'll have to check it out.
You know what, Sam? Frank and I will take you to Craft Taco when you come back into town. It'll be our treat.
All right. Very good. I do like that Torrey Pines hike, so that would be a good lunch.
Yeah, there you go. Great lunch spot for you, and maybe future dates in the you can know ball. People are asking about some dates in the chat. All right, so I'm hooking you up with a good date spot.
Well, I think what's happening is for some reason when I host with Scraby, anytime I'm on my phone, everybody thinks I'm like, I'm swiping.
Guy's on the prowl. He's on the prowl.
I'm trying to find dates, folks. I'm not. I'm just on my phone. Everybody relax. Everybody relax.
Guys swiping through. Oh, can't wait to hear it on Gwen and Chris. Sam, appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you guys.
Sam Levitt. Guys on the prowl, man. You got it, We're just trying to help. We're just trying to help the boy out. We're just trying to help out our boys here at the Fan. Nate caught him last year, apparently. Prolific's just on him right now in the chat. How the Padres doing? We'll update you when we come back. And Team USA got off to a hot start against Adrian Hauser. We'll get you an update as we return to the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as someone Sports Station 97 to the Fan. What a weekend across the San Diego section. First-time champions, overtime drama, state titles, and now everybody turns the page to the Southern California Regionals. Let's start on the hardwood with boys basketball. Victory Christian making history as they didn't have a 20-point scorer all season, no double-digit rebounder, no superstar stat sheet, but they had something better, balance and toughness, as the Knights knocked down Francis Parker 57-55 at Front Wave Arena to win the program's first Open Division championship.
Yes, and congratulations to them. 3 players in double digits, forced 10 second-half turnovers, held Parker's leading scorer, Tevitt Johnson, 23.5 points per game to only 8, which is huge. TJ Humphreys had 20. Troy Tamina hit 2 clutch free throws with 17 seconds left. Role players stepped up big. Team basketball win all the way for Victory Christian.
Yeah, and here's the bigger theme. They were more physical. Parker's coach admitted it. Victory Christian didn't outstar them. They outworked them. Both teams now head to the SoCal Regionals. On to girls basketball, where Francis Parker does break through. On the girls' side, Francis Parker School got its revenge after losing last year's final. The Lancers beat Westview 66-50 to win their first Open Division title. Freshman Jordan Brown scored 23. Junior Brianna Brown dropped 25 and grabbed 8 boards. They aren't related, but they sure play like it. And Westview led in the third behind UC Santa Barbara Brown's Sarah Hine, who finished with 23, but Parker closed the third on a 14-0 run and outscored Westview 18-6 after Hine fouled out. Defense decided it, and that's the theme we saw all weekend. What about in wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling, Poway puts 2 on top of the state. Over in Bakersfield at the CIF championships, Poway High School juniors Bailey Holman and Mario Carini captured state wrestling titles minutes apart from each other. Carini went back-to-back. Holman won in dramatic fashion with a takedown in the final 10 seconds. Poway finished second as a team behind Clovis Buchanan, nearly claiming the top spot. That's not just individual excellence. That is a pipeline. Slammers youth to Poway elite, to state champions. San Diego wrestling continues to produce at an elite level. Congratulations to those 2,
especially the Poway Titans and their wrestling program that has been the top here, not only in San Diego, but really one of the top in Southern California each and every year. As for soccer, Division II girls soccer, Del Norte High School won its first section title in 10 years. They beat La Jolla High School in overtime 2-1. Freshman Nurika Boyanapali scored the golden goal. On the boys' side, Bonita Vista High School edged Otay Ranch 3-2 in a Metro Mesa Classic. Late game heroics, championship composure. That's playoff soccer. But when you come about the big picture, what does it say about San Diego sports? Well, are we seeing a shift towards depth over star power in San Diego high school sports? Victory Christian won without a dominant individual. Parker girls basketball won because of defensive runs. Del Norte got a title from a freshman stepping up. Poway wrestling becomes the development and culture. The old formula, get a star, ride with the star. This year's formula, culture, physicality, depth, development. It really just shows the talent that we have here in San Diego.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also how you build teams. You don't necessarily build them behind one star, because if you build them behind one star, there's a good chance that if you run up against an opponent that can shut down that one star, just the same way Victory Christian was able to, you can run into some serious problems and not being able to score the rest of the way through. And that's exactly what we've seen here. Now you have 18 boys teams, 18 girls teams headed to Southern California regionals. The question becomes, are these feel-good stories, or are we about to make San Diego a real noisemaker statewide?
The state championships start now for a lot of these sports. I mean, wrestling's already done. They've completed their deal. Yes. And there's a couple other sports that are also at that point. But for soccer and for basketball, it's the state runs now. And with a lot of these state championships, the open division, you make the open division down in the sectionals, you get to play in the state regionals. So a lot of these teams that got knocked out in the open division. For basketball, season is not over yet, as they're starting to seed a lot of these tournaments. And what that means is baseball and softball right around the corner. We talked about track and field. We talked about lacrosse. We talked about indoor volleyball and outdoor beach girls volleyball. But next week it's go time. We got baseball this week and softball this week in America's finest city. We'll have some great updates for you on that starting next week. I was not aware of the nickname Sammy Swipes. That's been dropped in the chat a couple of times. Sam Levitt. Sammy Swipes. Have you heard this term before? Have you heard this nickname?
No, I have not.
You've not heard this nickname.
This is a new one for me.
It's a new one for me as well. I didn't know that was I didn't know. You know what? Didn't recognize his game.
Yeah, we have fallen behind on the Sam Levitt lore.
Yeah. I'm about to tune in to Gwen and Chris on the way up to the beach volleyball match I'm going to today to get the Sammy Swipes. I had Nate in the chat said he's caught Sammy before. In the act of swiping. Sammy on the prowl. Sammy Swipes. Didn't realize this. You know what? We just gave him a great date idea, by the way. I have to say.
Yes,
he is welcome for that. We'll take Sam to Craft Taco the first time so we can try it, all that stuff. After that, he's on his own. That's going to be his move. That's going to be his signature move. He's going to be just hitting up. He's just going to say hi to Eddie every time over at Craft Taco. He's going to hike Torrey Pines and then go see Eddie or vice versa. You probably want to have the taco after the hike. What do you think?
That'd probably be my guess.
That's probably be a good idea. You go hike it in the morning, kind of late morning. You hike up the hill through the whatever, the hike part. Canyon. It's not really canyons or anything.
Do the hike.
Do the nature S.
Do the nature.
Yeah, do that. And then when you finish, you go on the way down onto the beach.
I'm sorry,
across the beach.
We almost forgot. Hold on.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
I'm getting there, Jeremiah. You got to complete the hike first, buddy. So then you complete the hike, go across the beach, get in your car, cruise over on your way out, cruise over to Craft Taco in Serena Valley. It's not far away from this. Get your tacos. He's got to be a regular there. And here's the deal. You just go tell Eddie that we told you to come by. Eddie's going to treat you like a king at Craft Taco. He does all the time. I always feel taken care of when I go to Craft Taco. So we're passing it along. And it doesn't have to be Sam. Gentlemen, ladies, whoever, you want to do a San Diego date? That's a pretty good San Diego date if I don't ask, and I'll say so myself. Have I done that yet? No, I haven't. But you know what? They're back sponsoring the lunchtime hour. Might have to add it to the repertoire. Frank, your thoughts on this?
No, it's fair. It is a good idea. It's a very, very good idea. After you're done doing the nature, you can do the eating.
Before I even got the words out of my mouth that I hadn't done this yet, I immediately got a text. Why haven't you taken me on this kind of date? I knew that was going to happen.
See, you were so...
It's better.
God.
We were waiting for the... Where's Jeremiah?
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
That's what we were doing. We were waiting for the tacos. They're back. Paul Taylor was on a Kraft Taco heater last week. We love it. We absolutely love it. You know what? We could go to Kraft Taco today. We really could. I might pick up Kraft Taco on the way to the beach volleyball game that's in the Del Mar area today.
But it doesn't count. You're going to have to go back because it's not the date. You don't do the nature and then do the taco. You're picking up the food.
No, I just said for myself I can get Kraft Taco.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she's got to coach. She's got to coach volleyball.
So now you're going to get it for yourself.
Oh,
after
I might
saying
now get
that
it for
it's a date
myself
idea,
and then eat it as she's coaching volleyball and just be like, "Hey, look, I got Kraft Taco."
That's it. Okay.
No, it's gonna be fun.
It's going to go over very well.
No, it's great.
It's going to go over very, very well.
I
want to hear what the reply text is going to be.
As I down the. By the way, they got burritos too. California burritos good.
I want to hear what the return text is.
It's laughing emojis, so she knows. You can't do the. I mean, we could theoretically go there after. I don't know how late Kraft Taco's open. How late's Kraft Taco open? You know how late Kraft Taco's open? You've been there now, so.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was there in the middle of the day. I wasn't there like
closes at 8. I don't know. Might be tough. It might be another time. So anyway, I did get a response. She said it's going to be fine, Frank.
Okay.
She'll be busy wrangling teenagers. It's true.
All the more reason to want to
you know
eat.
what? I didn't realize they had a snail problem at the beach volleyball courts at the high school she coaches at either.
Gosh.
Sluggo laid down. I'm surprised we don't have a Sluggo endorsement yet.
Sluggo, like I said, it's either Sluggo or the Snail Space Program, one of the two.
I prefer the beer at this point. I got to try it. I have to try it. I don't know if there's any snails left though. I got up this morning and it looked like we haven't had snails in the yard in forever. Also, it was underwater in the front yard. So that could also, they could have drowned, I guess, after the fact. But anyway. All right. They do have a good happy hour, Kraft Taco. Paul Taylor talking it up. He's trying to take our sponsorship. Padres are down 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Mydroth led off the inning with a single, not Connor Mydroth at USD, his older brother who played at USD. Chase Mydroth, leadoff hitter for the White Sox. Miguel Vargas knocked Mydroth in, but it was 5 hits in the first inning, 1 run, as Pavetta is now an inning and a third in, 1 earned run on 5 hits and a strikeout. The first inning was single, caught stealing, fly out, single, strikeout by Lamont Wade Jr. to end the first. Padres on offense got a double at Jose Miranda. Hey, another offensive onslaught by Jose Miranda. Clay Duncan got hit by a pitch. Solak lined it out, and Jace Bowen grounded out to end the second. And that's you're caught up on the Padres. Team USA is up 2-1 in the bottom of the second inning as they were able to get a run on. Did you see how they got a run on Skeens?
I did. Skeens is
he's still pitching.
No,
he's in right now.
Hold on, let me.
They looked. Their first couple at bats was good luck. Adrian Hauser. How did he draw the stick to go against Team USA in a Cactus League game? Spring training game. I know it's not a Cactus League game.
Top of the first inning, Arson Fudge with a 2 RBI single, and then it was an RBI ground out by Patrick Bailey in the bottom of the first.
Adames led off the inning with a double against Skeens. Chapman grounded out. Bailey grounded out that knocked in Adames, as Frank said. And Victor Barakoto struck out swinging to end the inning. So now it's the bottom of the second, 2-1 lead for Team USA in one of their exhibition games. Are they playing again tomorrow? I think they are. I think they're playing one more game tomorrow. Mason Miller is expected to pitch today as well, Frank. So Just passing along the information. The Padres got the White Sox today, and they will be playing Great Britain tomorrow.
Oh, poor. Oh, no.
What happened?
Oh, they're playing the Rockies tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh, God.
It's an MLB All-Star team versus the Rockies, who every team looks like an All-Star team against.
How did the Rockies get that schedule?
Oh, poor children.
I want to be one of those minor league. That's the day you want to be one of the minor leaguers that fills in for Team USA. Jeez. How did they get the Rockies? The Italians are playing the Angels tomorrow.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Too bad it's not the Big A. Could have went up there. Watch the motherland. All right, when we come back, we do need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you call in and take me down in sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win a pair of tickets to Field of Dreams Festival at Petco Park on June 13th. Slightly Stupid, Sublime, and more. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll do that when we come back, as well as talk about some of the lineups in the National League West. We do want to talk about that as well. Padres, where do they rank in Major League Baseball in terms of their lineup? Well, without Nick Castellanos in part of the conversation, it still ranks pretty high. We'll talk about that on the other side of the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. We are quickly approaching Selection Sunday. In fact, this week is the first of 2 weeks for conference championship tournaments. Conference championship tournaments are going on right now in college basketball, the first of the couple of weeks, and they have 31 spots on the line for automatic bids. And right now, according to ESPN.com, 29 total locks across Power 5 plus Gonzaga, Utah State, and St. Mary's for at-large bids. The SEC and the Big Ten are driving the bracket volume. The ACC is more fragile than ever right now, and the Mountain West could be in danger of shrinking to 2 bids. But the real drama, it's the bubble, and it's chaotic.
Yeah, it always seems to be the bubble as well. Now, we'll start off with the should-be-ins. These ones are tracking safely above the cut line, but definitely are not immune. Out of the SEC, we're seeing Georgia, Missouri, Texas. Nothing really surprising there. Big Ten, you have Iowa, UCLA, Ohio State. ACC, you're seeing Clemson, Miami, and SMU, the Southern Methodist. Big 12, you have Central Florida. Others, you have St. Louis.
The Billikens, Frank.
Yes, out of the Atlantic 10. So right now,
these are all teams that should be, they're bubble teams, but they should be in. I think they've done enough to get to that point.
Yeah, and Ohio State just had a big win this weekend, too. They just beat Purdue at home. So that was a big win to help their case out. Do you want to do the work to do teams, or do you want me to?
There's teams in the work to do, and this is the true bubble, if you will. These are the ones where every win, gets them closer to solidifying a spot, and every loss is just, devastating. And unfortunately, San Diego State finds himself in this work to do bubble. These are teams that probably have to win 1 or 2 games in their respective conference tournaments. So teams that have work to do. In the SEC, it's Texas A&M and Auburn. I don't know how Auburn is still in the bubble. I really don't. I don't understand the entire situation with Auburn. The nepotism hire of Bruce Pearl's son to take over the program, which a guy that had no head coaching experience whatsoever at the college level, gets the job like Auburn, and they're 1 game above 500. They've lost 7 of their last 8 games. I'm sorry. I don't know how you could put that team in the NCAA tournament, even if they win out. I don't understand how you could put them in the NCAA tournament. It makes no sense to me with Auburn being a bubble team. I mean, they're the first team out right now. Are you kidding me with this SEC bias?
But I
don't see the connection there. I mean, you look at a team so they're in there with Texas A&M, Indiana, and USC. Indiana's dropped 4 straight games, and they've looked awful. That's another team that's just still hanging around. Got to get them in the NCAA tournament. I mean, God forbid San Diego State loses a game at New Mexico, which, by the way, no Power 4 school would ever sign up to play. Not a single Power 4 school would ever sign up to play at New Mexico, but we're going to punish San Diego State for losing at New Mexico. We're not going to punish Indiana for losing 4 straight. We're not going to punish Auburn for losing 7 of 8 and being 500. No, we're going to punish the Aztecs for losing at New Mexico. This is where the biases jump in. The ACC, Virginia Tech, and Cal, they have no business being in the NCAA tournament. Absolutely not. TCU and Cincinnati. As much as I am a TCU alumni and they've been playing really good basketball as of late, they lost the game to New Orleans at the beginning part of the season. I mean, so they have their own qualms too. At least with the Big 12, statistically and metric-wise, they are the best conference in college basketball right now. So them and Cincinnati are hanging around. In the Big East, Seton Hall, the fact that the Big East is a power conference and also only getting maybe 3 teams in, also a joke because it's not part of the autonomous 4, if you will. Other mid-majors to consider. Miami of Ohio. I don't think they've done enough to potentially make the tournament if they don't win their automatic qualifier bid. I know going undefeated is one thing, but unless they go undefeated and then lose in the MAC championship game, I don't think they're going to be in. Santa Clara, New Mexico, San Diego State, VCU, South Florida. These are all the mid-majors and others that are battling for a spot. But we talked about this on the Aztec update, and during our show, there are 37 teams or spots available for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. And right now, 34 of them, according to Joel Lenardi and other bracketologist predictors, they have 34 of those spots being sent to Power 4 schools.
It's just, unfortunately, it's just the way it is. And speaking of which, let's take a look at that cut line. Right now, looking at the last 4 byes, you have Georgia, Missouri, A&M, and Texas getting the last 4 byes. The last 4 in right now, you're showing Auburn, you're showing TCU, you're showing Santa Clara, you're also showing Indiana. First 4 out. This is kind of where you're starting to see the problems here. Cal, New Mexico, Ohio State, and USC. The next 4 out, VCU, Virginia Tech, Seton Hall, and Cincinnati. So Aztecs not on either one of those lists, meaning you're most likely done.
Well, some of those, that was the cut line that involved San Diego State being the automatic qualifier if they lost to New Mexico. As of right now, you can insert them in the second spot on the first 4 out. The New Mexico is actually one of the last 4 teams in on this particular deal. And by the way, by the time you watch this, it's going to change 1,500 times anyway. These are all the teams that are battling for spots as of Monday, March 2nd. Our midday sports standoff should be a fun one today. Try to get people qualified to win a chance to have tickets to the Field of Dreams Festival at Petco Park, June 13th, featuring Slightly Stupid, Sublime, and more. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Hit it, Frank.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Kyle in San Diego playing today. Kyle, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good. So today's topic, there's only 6 answers to this, so this has the potential of being a very quick game. However, there will be points awarded for correct answers who have gone through this multiple times. And the question today is which countries have made the finals, not won it, just made the finals in the World Baseball Classic. Kyle, you have the first guess.
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic has made it. They made it in 2013. So only 1 point for Kyle there.
All right. Japan.
Japan was the big getter. Braden has 3 points. They made it in 2006, 9, and 23. Kyle.
USA.
USA has made it twice, so score now tied. 2017 and 2023.
What about Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico is the only other team that has made it multiple times. They made it in 13 and 17. Kyle, you're going to have to get this one right because you could still mathematically tie.
Nice.
Cuba.
Cuba was a part of the very first
one? That was the
World
one
Baseball
here.
Classic final in 2006. They lost to Japan. So, Kyle, you have to hope that Braden gets this one wrong.
This team was in it early. Korea.
Kyle, unfortunately, he did not get it wrong. South Korea.
No.
South Korea was in it in 2009. They lost to Japan in year number 2. So a nice quick game for the midday sports standoff today.
All right, so Japan made it in what years?
Japan made it in 6, 9, and 2006, 2009, and 2023. They won all 3 times. Puerto Rico made it in 2013 and 17. The U.S. made it in 17 and 23. Cuba 2006, Korea 2009, DR 2013 when they won it.
You said Cuba was 06?
Yes, Cuba
and
was
then
06.
The Dominican was when?
13.
13.
What world was that?
I can't believe what?
Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I am feeling that. What is that?
I don't know if that's outside or if that's the floor below us.
I don't know. Look out the window. I did feel that. Was that an earthquake? Didn't shake as much.
No, I don't think so. It might have just been the floor below us.
I guess that was moving. It was funny. I was like, when I came up the building today in the elevator, I was like, is there anything on the 5th floor? I've never ever seen anything on the 5th floor. Yeah, I felt that shaking in the table.
Yeah.
That was odd. All right. Well, that's fun.
Anyway,
back to sports. Let's talk about what did we tease? Let's talk about the West. We have time to talk about the West lineups. So we went through the American League West already. Let's talk about the National League West. Is anybody surprised that the Dodgers got picked the number 1 lineup in baseball? No. Does anybody disagree with that? You disagree with that at all?
Begrudgingly, no.
I hold that same sentiment. The Dodgers got picked just based on their lineup, without even including the pitching, 89.7 lineup wins. B+ hit, patience A, power A, base running A-, durability B+, depth B. Their lineup of Ohtani, Tucker, Betts, Freeman, Smith, Muncy, Hernandez, Edman, and Pages. Very powerful, very patient, savvy on the base. They're good. I'm not going to continue this.
Moving on.
Padres will play. How about this? The Padres won't play the Dodgers. I know we talked about this probably when the schedule came out, but the Padres won't play the Dodgers until May 18th.
Wow.
They won't play the Dodgers. That was the first time.
Wasn't the first time last year? Like they didn't play them until June, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, there was another ridiculous wait.
It makes sense though because you play everybody. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get these games in. You can't, would it be ideal if you played every one of those teams once a month? Probably. But it's kind of hard to do when you got to play 4 division opponents throughout the year, 4 different times. So they don't play the Dodgers until May 18th. They will play everybody in the division. In fact, except for the Diamondbacks, but they'll play almost everybody in the division twice before they play the Dodgers once. And here's the other thing, too. Against everybody else in the division, the Padres go back and forth home and away, except for the Dodgers. They will play all their home games against LA before July. They got May 18th, 19th, and 20th, June 26th, 27th, 28th. All 6 of the home games against LA will be done before July.
Baseball's scared to put the Dodgers in San Diego when it matters.
The Padres will be in LA July 2nd through the 5th. I love that. Playing the Dodgers over 4th of July weekend is kind of great. Not going to lie. You for or against that? I don't mind that.
I'm for it.
I think, honestly, the 4th of July weekend should be like the big rivalry type weekend. That's fun. It's great. The Red Sox play the Yankees on the 4th of July. And then the Padres will be in LA September 22nd to the 24th. Before they put Nick Castellanos in this lineup, which, by the way, Castellanos, 2-run homer, baby. How about this? Miguel Andujar single, Nick Castellanos homer. Take it. Not bad. Like it. You like it. You like it, Frank.
It is very nice.
Andujar single on a sharp line drive to left field. Nick Castellanos then a homer on a fly ball to left field to score Andujar. Padres up 2-1. Also in that inning, Bryce Johnson got a single, and then he got picked off at first. So that
not helpful.
Not great. Luis Camposano is now lined out to center field, and that'll do it for the Padres in the third, but they were able to get 2 runs back. But okay, so without having Nick Castellanos in this lineup, Padres lineup looks pretty solid, Frank.
Yeah,
in terms of the comparison to the rest of the Major League Baseball.
There's a couple changes I would make. They're number 10 in baseball right now. Xander Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando, Cronenworth, Laureano, Sheets, Andujar, and Fermin. That's the projection right now. Again, there are some movements
lineup
that I would make.
I would too. I mean, Castellanos isn't in it already.
I don't know, because this was done on the 25th of February. I don't remember if he had signed by then. So he may not have even been on the team when this was written.
It's possible. They give the Padres an A+ hit tool and an F for patience. And I think they've really worked on the patience so far.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. So I think that's going to be improved. But that's the biggest question mark for this team in general, has always been the patience.
Yeah.
You see Fernando swing out of his shoes on a lot of pitches. You see Manny Machado chase that slider low and away all the time. If they're more patient up there, I think they're going to be a lot different of a lineup. And I like the lineup that they have. And that's without, like we mentioned, and not having Ty France maybe coming off the bench. And who knows what the Padres lineup will be come opening day. But I would say the Padres have a top 10 lineup in baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Absolutely.
Hyper-aggressive, contact-first offense. If they can add Blue Jays level power, they'd be dangerous, is what it says. If not, lots of singles. Tatis and Machado carry the weight. They do need Merrill to have a bounce back and Bogaerts to have a throwback season. I would agree with the Merrill and Bogaerts conversation as well.
Yes.
If Merrill comes back to what he was in his rookie year, the Padres are going to be really good. Really good. And I think he will. Last year was a lot of injuries that frustrated him. Next on the list, right behind the Padres, Arizona.
Yes, their projection is Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll,
solid.
Gabriel Moreno, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Santana, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Jordan Lawler, and Pavin Smith. Jordan Lawler is supposed to be very, very, very good.
I think Arizona's going to have a solid team.
Yes, they are.
They got to stay healthy, though. That's been a big problem for them. And doesn't Corbin Carroll hurt?
Yeah, he had the same thumb surgery that Lindor had.
Yeah, he's going to miss some time.
Yes, he's going to miss like a month.
Yeah. I think they're good. I think the National League West is a lot better than it was in the last couple of years. Padres will play the Diamondbacks in Mexico, April 25th and 26th. Those will count as Diamondbacks home games. And then the Padres will play the Diamondbacks here July 6th to the 9th, in Arizona August 3rd to the 6th, and then they will host the Diamondbacks September 25th to the 27th. On to the Giants, who are playing Team USA right now and losing. They got a solid match. They got a solid lineup too. It's just a little bit on the older side in certain areas, and I think they're very injury prone. Yeah,
so San Francisco's listed number 17 on this list. Luis Arraez, Rafael Devers, Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, Jung-Hoo Lee, Elliot Ramos, Harrison Bader, Bryce Eldridge, and Patrick Bailey is their projected.
I think their lineup's good. Base running, they give an F. I mean, they don't have a lot of speed on that team. I would agree with that. I think they're better than 17th best in baseball, though. I really do. You're telling me this roster is worse than the Royals? No, I don't think so. I think I'd move them up a little bit. I think the Giants are going to be a pretty solid team with the coaching staff they have and the players that they have. I think they're better. And then there's there's Dinger.
Then there's the Rockies. you seen the grades?
Do I want to?
Look at the very end of the grades on that.
This is from Bradford Doolittle's lineup projections.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
0 stars.
8 holes in the
8
lineup.
holes.
They have 8 holes in the lineup.
Tovar, Castro, Goodman, Beck, Johnston, Doyle, Moniak, McCarthy, Julian.
Hit F, patience F, power D, base running C minus. Hey, that's a plus. Durability F, depth D, against righties F, against lefties F. It's going to be a bad year for the Rockies.
Again.
Well, we got a lot of World Baseball Classic teams in action right now. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Team USA is up 3-1 now, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what it was before they went to break?
Yes, Alex Bregman hit a solo home run.
Nice. The only time I'll say nice about an Alex Bregman home run. Speaking of home run, Miguel Vargas homered for the White Sox. It's 2-2 in the top of the fourth. Lines you need to know for the Padres. Miguel Andujar's 1-for-1 with a run scored and a walk. He's had a pretty good spring already. He's done most of his damage again against the left-handers. He got that off of Newcomb, which I don't know off the top of my head. Who's a lefty. So the guys that you brought in to hit lefties, well, Castellanos not really, but nice. The guys that you brought in to hit lefties are hitting lefties. I mean, Miguel Andujar, another knock, gets on base. What does Nick Castellanos do? Drives him in. Nick Castellanos, 2-run homer today. Nick Castellanos, 2 for 2 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Got a 989 OPS right now. Should be higher, should it not? Frank?
Yes.
It should be higher. His slug should be way higher, especially after yesterday, and especially after the home run he got hosed on. That was a home run that they called a double, followed by yesterday where it was a double that was called foul. He ended up rolling into a double play. So, Miguel Andujar, 1-for-1, run scored, walk. Nick Castellanos, 2 for 2, 1 run, 2 RBIs. Bryce Johnson's 1 for 2 today. Jose Miranda's 1 for 2 today with a double. The competition's starting to grow a little bit more for the Padres. Again, take the stats for what it's worth, but not bad at a lot of the guys, Frank, that are competing for not only playing time, but roster spots on this team.
I told you guys, get behind Miguel Andujar. He's going to be good. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? So far, he's looking very, very good in spring training, is he not?
He is. Just like Nick Pivetta last year for you, right, Frank? I'm just kidding. Pivetta, hey, you know, it looks good for you right now. Pivetta, 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, a walk, a strikeout, a home run. Again, starting pitching, working on stuff early in the season. Pivetta hasn't looked very sharp in these last 2 outings, but watch them build up and get closer to opening day. And we'll see where the pitching staff is at. But Pivetta's gone 3 innings today. Before we talk more about the World Baseball Classic, which starts tomorrow, by the way, and another update on Team USA, let's get to today's biggest fan. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Dennis Auble in Lakeside. Dennis Auble in Lakeside, AUBLE. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Dennis Auble, AUBLE, in Lakeside. You got 10 minutes, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Today's biggest fan. All right. I want to dive into this WBC stuff and kind of get a preview. Did you see the Cardinals today, like just now?
No.
The Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, no.
Not the St. Louis Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals. There is a report right now from Adam Schefter. And this is big NFL news. Arizona has informed Kyler Murray that they intend to release him on the first day of the league year next Wednesday, barring a trade between now and then.
Straight release. Wow.
Well, the thing is, in football, you can release players and not pay their contract.
Yeah.
They have to pay penalties with guaranteed money and all that stuff, and there's a cap hit. Like, there's still penalties for it. He's going to make some money, but it's not like baseball. You get the full contract. So the Cardinals are going to cut Kyler Murray on the first day of the league year next Wednesday, barring a trade between now and then. If you're any team that wants Kyler Murray, why would you even remotely consider?
No,
just kind of
absolutely
wait.
not. Yeah, just wait on it.
I don't think anybody wants Kyler Murray that bad. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million guaranteed in 2026, and another $19.5 million would have triggered on March 15th for 2027. He now will be moving on. So they're going to save cap space by releasing him, even though they still owe him a big chunk of guaranteed money. Classic example of cap management trumping the loyalty of this team. But Kyler Murray never stays healthy. Kyler Murray he just doesn't do anything in Arizona. His time in Arizona, he was the number 1 overall pick. He won the Rookie of the Year in 2019, 2-time Pro Bowler, 87 starts, 20,000 passing yards, 3,100 rushing yards, 121 passing touchdowns, 32 rushing touchdowns, 60 picks. You look at a guy like Kyler Murray, Frank, which it sounds like we got our biggest fan call.
Yes, we did. Also, very good that he did that on as quickly as he did because I did not start the timer.
Nice. That would have been awkward.
Would have been.
Sorry, sir. You called in at 10:01. Just missed it. Kyler Murray never stays healthy because he's small. And, like, the Cardinals are awful. I could see Kyler Murray maybe being better somewhere else. I don't know where that somewhere else would be because most good organizations already have a quarterback. But you look at this with Kyler Murray and the mess that they have now in Arizona. Arizona's a mess in general. The Arizona Cardinals are one of the worst organizations in all of sports. But I don't think this Kyler Murray experiment was ever going to work out. And all the money that they were giving him eliminates their opportunity to really build around him and build an actual good team. I don't think this move's that bad for Arizona, to be honest with you.
No, not at all. I mean, they just got a new head coach, did they not?
They did.
Yeah,
Mike
so this
LaFleur, and they got a new general manager.
Yeah, this is out with the old regime, in with the new. We're not waiting around. We're going to start implementing our stuff now.
So Arizona's got a brand new head coach of Mike LaFleur, and they got a brand new GM in Monte Austinfort, and they didn't draft Kyler Murray, and they will now look to find the next quarterback for the Cardinals as Murray's 7-year run comes to an end. Do you think that they make a trade with the Raiders?
It's the only team dumb enough to do it now.
The Jetropolitans?
Okay, there's 2 teams dumb enough to do it now.
The 2 teams in front of the Cardinals right now in the NFL draft are the Raiders and the Jets. The Cardinals obviously want to find a new quarterback.
They're not going to be fighting for a new quarterback with either one of those teams. I mean, the Jets, you can make the argument that, yeah, Justin Fields is not going to work out, which Justin Fields is not going to work out. Didn't the Raiders just draft a quarterback last year in the first round?
No, they traded for Geno Smith.
Oh.
They don't have a quarterback. The Raiders need one. That's why everybody keeps predicting that Mendoza is going to go to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's right.
I could see the Cardinals trading up.
For some reason, they picked up last year.
I could see the Cardinals trading up and drafting Mendoza. I really could. I don't think that'd be wise. I think if I'm the Cardinals and I'm a brand new GM and a brand new head coach, I'm going to redo this entire team and build from the trenches. I think it'd actually be better for the Cardinals to draft linemen and build up in the trenches and then get a quarterback in 3 years. I think that's probably better for the Cardinals. This quarterback draft's not great.
No, it's not.
The quarterback draft is not great this year. Let the Raiders draft Mendoza. He's not going to have success with them anyway because nobody's going to have success with the Raiders. Let the Jets do it if they pass. I would almost trade down to somebody that wants something up in the top 3 picks. Probably more valuable for the Cardinals to trade that pick. The fact that they can't really trade Kyler Murray tells you everything you need to know about Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they were looking, and I don't think anybody was biting because they would have pulled the trigger on something right now. The fact that they've got to release point at this point tells you everything you need to know about what the league thinks of Kyler Murray. He's not probably worth the investment.
And it's not a new thought either. I mean, people have been saying ever since he got drafted that he was too small to play in this league.
He got his money. He's getting paid now. What if Now listen to this for a second. He's already in Arizona. What if he just goes over to A's spring training?
I was going to say go to Arizona State because players apparently
Oh, yeah,
can
you could do
now.
that. That's
just
true.
go to Arizona State or Arizona.
Where do the Athletics play? Don't answer that.
Where do the A's play, dude?
Play in 2 different states and 3 different cities, according to us. Just go over to Hohokam Stadium out in Mesa, knock on the door, and be like, you drafted me, first round, 10th pick. I'm ready to play baseball. That's probably better for his career at this point. We'll go play baseball. Maybe it's time for Kyler Murray to play baseball. Where would you put Kyler Murray in this A's lineup? We went over the lineups. A's already have a top 6 lineup. You had Kyler Murray. That might be top 5. Kyler Murray's great at Oklahoma. Baseball player.
Let's.
Where would he play?
I got
Anywhere?
the perfect position for him.
Yeah.
Left out.
No, come on. Kyler Murray, baseball player. I'm just telling you. It's probably a better play for Kyler. He was selected 9th overall by the A's in the 2018 draft. I even lied. I thought it was 11. I thought it was 10. He was actually drafted 9th out of Oklahoma.
He could become the first Michael Jordan.
Center fielder, left fielder. Who plays left field for the A's?
Does it matter?
Probably one of their better players. It does. They have a top 5 lineup.
Butler's there out. Butler's in right. I know that. Andujar was in left last year. I genuinely do not know.
I can't type in Oaklamento because that's not going to come up with anything. Los Oaklamento Athletics. Hang on. The depth chart. Yeah, what's the depth chart at? This is how much I know about the A's. Aside for the fact that they scored 7 runs against us yesterday. A's current starting center fielder is Denzel Clark.
Yeah, he could play center field.
Backed up by Lawrence Butler and Colby Thomas. I'm telling you, it's not crazy.
Left field. Oh, well, left fielder's Tyler Soderstrom. Yeah, he'd probably be a center fielder in that case.
Yeah, he's playing center field for sure. Kyler Murray's fast enough to play center field in the big leagues.
Tyler's. Yeah, no, that really is the only place he can play because Tyler Soderstrom came up as a catcher first baseman, and now if you're going to play Nicholas Kurtz at first, Shea Langoliers is already your established starting catcher. Yeah, Soderstrom left field. That's really the only place he can play.
How about that? All right, I don't think anybody's going to trade for him. Denzel Clark. Just because I'm playing for Team Canada doesn't mean I can't play center field for the A's. It's a good one. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give you a preview of the World Baseball Classic. Take a look at the pools and how it's playing out. We got a lot of teams in action right now. Team USA is up 3-1, top of the 5th. We will get to that when we come back. And what's going on at Camelback Ranch, Padres and White Sox. That's on the way too. Braden Surprenant Show, Setting Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan. Big time history this weekend in motorsports, and it starts with the name tied forever to greatness. Ever since the dynasty years of the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s, the word three-peat has basically belonged to one man, Michael Jordan. Now he's sharing it with one of his drivers. Tyler Reddick wins again, this time at Duramax Texas Grand Prix, powered by Redline at the Circuit of the Americas, becoming the first driver in NASCAR history to win the first 3 races of a Cup Series season.
Yeah, no, that is absolute history. Now, only 2 drivers in NASCAR history have ever been able to win the first 2. That would have been Jeff Gordon in 1997 and Matt Kenseth back in 2009. Those are the only times that the winner of the opening 2 race was that one driver was able to win the opening 2 races of the season. Now Tyler Reddick has not only added to that very illustrious company, he has gotten into a class of his own, something we've never seen before, and something with how hard it is to win races nowadays, we may never see again.
A week earlier, he won at Echo Park. Before that, Daytona. Now it's the Circuit of the Americas. He now holds a 70-point lead in the standings. It's early, but it's starting to dominate. And here's the part that adds legacy weight. His car is co-owned by Michael Jordan and Danny Hamlin under the 2311 Racing. Jordan called the third win the hardest one to get because expectations change, pressure changes. Everyone's chasing you. And right now, everyone is chasing Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and he was running away. He was running for his life at the end of that race. Shane Van Gisbergen came over from the Australian Supercar Series a couple of years ago, ran just a one-off race because he wanted to try it out at the Chicago Street Circuit and won it. The first driver to ever win on his debut. Got a full-time ride last year, won the last 5 road courses in a row last year, and Reddick had to hold off SVG at the end of that race and did it perfectly. He said he made a couple mistakes, but he was able to outlast Shane Van Gisbergen and win by a fairly comfortable margin in the end.
The bigger takeaway, obviously, this isn't luck. Now it's starting to be a reality in NASCAR. It's not about the fuel. It's not fuel mileage. It's not chaos racing. This is the speed of Tyler Reddick in his car right now. It's the strategy. It's the execution. And if he keeps stacking playoff points this early, we might be watching someone build a championship cushion before the summer even hits.
Yeah, exactly. And with the way the new championship system is working, it's not just a win and you're in. You need to build up points. You'll get more points for your wins. The playoff points will stack up. And then it's the final 10 races basically restarts the season. You go by the point standings again to find the champion. But yeah, this is a huge cushion and huge buffer that Tyler Reddick has built himself this early in the season.
You dropped Tyler Reddick's car off at VAS Arena before a San Diego State basketball game, and now all of a sudden he's won 3 races. I don't think it's that much of a coincidence, Frank. I really don't.
Hendrick Motorsports, get William Byron's car out here, please. That would be very, very kind of you. Please, come on. He's got to pick it up.
Jimmy Johnson better start dropping a car off before the race here in San Diego. We'll talk about that, obviously, as that race gets closer in June. But an IndyCar update. Paolo picks up where he left off. Meanwhile, over in IndyCar, the dominance theme has continued. Alex Palou opened the 2026 season by winning the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. If it sounds familiar, it should. He just won his 3rd straight championship last season, by nearly 200 points. And on Sunday, he led 59 laps and won by over 12 seconds. That's not just squeaking by. That's controlling a race.
No, if you want to go back to the chase dominance of Jimmy Johnson in NASCAR, that's what Alex Palou has done here in IndyCar. Won by the largest margin in the history of the series last year at almost 200 points, going for his 4th straight championship. He's just picked up right where he's left off, and IndyCar does run on road courses and on ovals. This was the street circuit at St. Petersburg. He is very, very good on road courses. He has been so dominant in this series for the last couple of years. It's no wonder why the world of Formula One is looking at him.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun race coming up next weekend.
Yep.
Couple
Phoenix,
of races.
yes.
Frank's excited. Hopefully.
I'm very, very excited.
Frank's going to give us the full recap next week.
Yes.
$119 on a Tuesday. Braden Surprenant show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Haven't done so already, give us a like on the YouTube page. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. We've got 817 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're putting out new videos each and every day now. We're going to be posted in the morning, in the afternoon, about local sports here in San Diego, as well as national sports too, and some of the latest stuff throughout the sports world, as we have so much to talk about and not enough time during our 4-hour show. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. You get updated when we post new stuff. It helps us push our product out there as much as possible. So if you enjoy the show, give us a like in the YouTube page, as well as a subscribe. It's free to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. So please help us out and do that. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it may be. We are out there as well. Padres tied it 2 with the White Sox at Camelback Ranch. Today, Nick Castellanos and Miguel Andujar are the big stories on offense. Andujar 2 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. Nick Castellanos 2 for 3 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. He hit the 2-run homer. Nick Pivetta ends the day 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He did give up a home run to Miguel Vargas. Kyle Hart is now in for the Padres. 1 inning he has gone through as he starts the bottom of the 5th. Team USA is in action today, and that's going to lead us to our next topic, as Team USA is playing the San Francisco Giants, and they're up 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. If I can get MLB.com to work.
You're right.
It is 3-1. 3-1 Team USA. I'm not right. It's 5-1 now.
You're wrong.
5-1 Team USA. Bobby Witt Jr. is 2 for 3 today with 2 runs scored. Bryce Harper's 2 for 3 today with a run scored. Aaron Judge is 2 for 2 today with 2 RBIs and a walk. Kyle Schwarber has worked a walk today. Alex Bregman's got a solo shot. He's 1 for 3. Bryce Terang's 1 for 2 at the bottom of the lineup. In terms of pitching, Skeen started the day, 3 innings, 1 earned run on 1 hit, and 4 punch outs. Boyd is now in. He has gone an inning. He has given up 2 hits, and he also has a strikeout. And it sounds like Mason Miller is going to pitch today for Team USA. So we'll be on the lookout for that with that update. I do want to get to, we didn't have time to get to the sports thread today. Our sports thread is a time where we get you update on everything going on in the sports world, some of the top trending topics going on in the day. It is sponsored by QC Kinetics. So want to give a shout out to them today. Obviously, we didn't get to that. We'll get to that again tomorrow. I do want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. And Frank and I are going to go through this right now, but the WBC starts officially tomorrow. First game is Chinese Taipei and Australia. That game will happen tomorrow at 7 p.m. as we get ready for WBC action. There are 4 pools right now in the WBC, and this is how the tournament works. So there's going to be 4 pools of 5 teams, and after the pools, you're going to get 2 teams that advance, and they will then advance into a bracket play to finish it out. The 4 pools are located across the world. Pool A is in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Pool B is in Houston. Pool C is in Tokyo, and Pool D is in Miami. And Frank, let's start with Pool A with the teams that are playing in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's going to be Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. It is the most balanced pool probably in the tournament.
Yeah, it's looking that way. There's no real overwhelming superpower. Depth in pitching is really going to matter when it comes to this pool. Colombia and Panama have improved significantly. Canada has a lot of young MLB talent, even though they're missing their leader in Freddie Freeman. This go around, Cuba blends NPB stars and veteran WBC legends. Puerto Rico is missing some of its stars, but is still good. But the big advantage that they are going to have is that they're going to be hosting this round, and home field advantage, especially in a tournament style like this, really does matter.
In terms of the limited star power, there is still some. Every team's going to have a couple of stars here and there. Puerto Rico, most notably Edwin Diaz, Nolan Arenado. For Canada, it is the Naylor brothers and Tyler O'Neill. Colombia, Jose Quintana is pitching for Colombia. For Cuba, Alfredo Despaigne, who is actually the World Baseball Classic home run king, as well as NPB ace Livian Manelo. Panama has Jose Caballero, who is this American League stolen base leader from a year ago. The X factors in this particular pool, the pitching for Cuba and getting the guys from the MPB. Canada's got some young prospects, like a guy like Owen Casey, who used to be a Padres farmhand. Puerto Rico has the bullpen dominance, and Panama's got a lot of speed. But to me, Frank, I think it's going to be Puerto Rico and Canada. I think they have the edge right now in Pool A.
I don't know about that. I think Puerto Rico definitely. I think Puerto Rico is going to win that pool, but I think it's more going to be a battle between Colombia and Panama, possibly. I'm seeing Colombia. Colombia might be a little bit better. I'll give Colombia a little bit of an edge in this group as well. I think they'll come out of it with the number 2 spot.
I give Canada the edge in the fence on the sense that they have more MLB guys. Although they've had a rough day today against the other Canadian team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays have roughed up Canada today, at least early in the contest. Other scores for you: Kansas City's beaten Cuba 3-0. Great Britain's up on the Brewers 5-2. Mexico's got a 4-2 lead on the Diamondbacks. The Cubs are beating the motherland, Frank. They're up 3-0 on Italy. Ooh. A's are up 11-1 on Brazil. And then the Dominican Republic will host Detroit tonight or this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So that'll be interesting to see. In Pool B, which is down in Houston, you got Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and the United States. Championship or bust, obviously, for Team USA.
Yeah. The USA is stacked from top to bottom. Mexico nearly made the final the last time we went through. Italy, of course, quietly dangerous. They're stronger than they were the last time this tournament was played in 2023. The upset potential here does exist. But if I'm being as honest as I possibly can be.
We appreciate it when you're honest with us.
It will be the United States and Mexico coming out of the group.
I would say so as well. I mean, Mexico almost reached the finals in 2023, as you mentioned. Italy's better than it's been. I will say that. The Italians are getting better, which is nice because for a long period of time, who was dominating Major League Baseball?
God awful.
For a long period of time, back in the 40s and 50s and 1920s, all the best baseball players were Italian Americans.
Yes.
Where is Chemo running?
No, Chemo's got his dog.
Oh.
That's why I looked. I'm like, the second I realized it was Chemo, I knew he was running with Angie.
I have PTSD all the time of people running in here because this usually means something absolutely drastically terrible is happening on our station because it's usually Adam running over here.
Because Angie, Chemo's dog, had an Achilles or like a leg knee surgery kind of thing. So she's got to run to stretch it out.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Fair enough.
Trying to get her to run.
Team USA is going to win this one for sure.
Yeah.
They should. If they don't, it's incredibly disappointing. I think Italy's getting a lot better, but they're not there yet. You might see an upset here and there, but to me, it's Team USA and Mexico in this particular pool. I mean, how do you go wrong with Aaron Judge and Paul Skeens, Bryce Harper, Bobby Witt Jr.? The star power for Italy is Aaron Nola.
Well, I mean, first of all, call him by his proper name.
Oh, here we go.
Arson Fudge. Second of all, it's too good a team. It really is. It's a lot better than the team that made the final last time out.
X factors, the pitching depth for Italy, Mexico's clutch experience, and obviously the USA pressure. USA advances. As much as Italy could upset Mexico for second, I still think Mexico gets it done.
Yes, I agree.
That pool. On to Pool C in Tokyo. This is where you're going to have the first game of the tournament. Australia and Chinese Taipei. Czechia is also a part of this tournament, as well as Japan and Korea. The Czechia story is always funny because they always have players that are teachers and plumbers and electricians and everyday people that are really good baseball players. And they play in the WBC, and it's fun to watch them go against some current MLB players. But Japan versus the field in this pool. Japan's got a very light pool, if you will, out in Tokyo. They get to play at home. I don't even see Japan losing a game in pool play. And I think Chinese Taipei is probably the second best, obviously, as they ride momentum after the Premier 12 title.
I would agree with that. I can see possibly South Korea getting Taiwan out of there, but I can't. I don't see Japan losing any single game in that.
Otani's not pitching, but it's still Otani. They got Yamamoto over there. Yu Darvish is helping with the coaching or whatever for them. He's getting them prepared, something that means a lot to him. So Wish him the best of luck with Team Japan. Australia's getting a lot better. They're getting a lot better, but they just don't have enough they don't have enough horses yet. I got Japan, and then I got Chinese Taipei as well, just edging Korea.
Yeah, I got Japan and South Korea.
Pool D in Miami. The Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Netherlands, and Israel. This to me is a fun pool.
Yeah, this is a hell of a group here.
There's a lot of good teams in Miami that have loaded rosters. And obviously we know about the Dominican Republic roster. They're playing against Detroit this afternoon in the Dominican. They look terrifying, as they should, because of all the players that they have, all the studs that they have. They have Fernando leading off and Manning batting fifth in this exhibition.
But the Dominican Republic, they'll get out of the group without, my goodness, Roman Anthony. Holy cow, what a shot he just hit.
That was smoked.
My goodness, Roman Anthony. That 15 pounds of muscle that he put on this offseason, that was only 394? No shot.
It was kind of, well, it's where it lands. I mean, it could have hit a building or something. There's a wall out there that's like right behind the right field fence. He knew it too immediately.
That was 450 easy. My goodness.
That thing was high as it was far.
Oh, it probably hit
it
that.
Hit that fence over there.
Yeah.
As it hooked around. That thing was smoked.
Yeah, but anyway.
It's now 7-1 Team USA in the sixth.
Getting
to nobody's surprise. Dominican Republic, Israel, Netherlands, Nicaragua, Venezuela. Star power overload in this pool.
The Dominican Republic is one of those teams, though, that always seems to have that disappointing upset loss.
Yeah, they're always
They'll make it out of this group. I have no doubt about that. But when it comes to, like, if they get matched up against a South Korea, that's a game that historically in this tournament they've lost. They have not, if they've won games on good draws, but when they have the bad draws, they underperform when they come out of the group stage. I'm seeing Dominican Republic and I'm seeing Venezuela coming out of this group. Netherlands are good. I just don't think they're as deep as Venezuela is.
I don't think so either. They don't have the pitching as much as the Dominican and Venezuela has. They got Xander Bogaerts and they got, the guys from Aruba and Curacao and all that stuff, Ozzy Albies. But I don't think they have enough, as you mentioned. Israel and the Netherlands have upset teams in the past. Nicaragua is looking for their first WBC win. Dusty Baker is the manager for Nicaragua.
There you go.
And it's a pretty cool thing. They're training at the old Dodgers complex in Florida that they used to train at. So a pretty cool thing for Dusty Baker. X factors in this one. Can the Dominican Republic finally live up to its talent?
It has to this year. I mean, this is probably one of their best, if not their best chance to win this tournament again. The U.S. is very good. Japan is very good, but they have a team that is on par with the U.S. and Japan. If there's going to be a year where they can do it, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, you can look at the so just to recap, in Pool A, we picked Puerto Rico, and then you picked I picked Canada. I'm just going to put Canada.
I picked Panama, Colombia, I think, actually. Yeah, I thought
Colombia. You picked Panama.
No, I picked Puerto Rico and Colombia.
We both got USA and Mexico.
Yes.
Pool C, Japan and Chinese Taipei, and then Pool D.
I have Japan and Korea out of that group.
Korea. And then in Pool D, I'm going with the Dominican and with Venezuela, which based on my picks, you would then have in the quarterfinal USA, Canada.
Okay.
In the quarterfinal, Chinese Taipei, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take Team USA over Canada, the Dominican over Chinese Taipei, although I think it's close. I'll take Mexico over Puerto Rico, and I got Japan over Venezuela. And
that sounds about right. So that would lead to another U.S.-Japan final.
Theoretically, you would have
yes.
USA, Dominican,
U.S.
and then Mexico
but
and Japan.
I was just saying that potential for another U.S.-Japan final is there. where they line up the brackets.
If Team USA wins their pool and Japan wins their pool, they automatically get separated on sides.
Yeah.
So I could see that being the case. I got Team USA winning it all because I'm biased, but there's that. I can't wait for this thing to get started tomorrow. I'm going to be locked in tomorrow night.
It's a lot of
even though it's Chinese Taipei and Australia, I'm going to be locked in.
There's a lot of international stuff happening this year. We just finished the Olympics, WBC. We got the World Cup later on this summer. The U.S. is going to be hosting it. There's a lot of international competition happening this year.
When we come back, speaking of big games, Aztecs and Boise State. That's huge at this point.
We didn't forget about you.
Didn't forget about it. We'll talk about that. That is tonight. We'll talk about Aztecs and Boise State when we come back. Big week across the board for the Tritons, and depending on the program, it's either momentum season or gut check time. Let's start with the hottest team in La Jolla right now, and that's the men's basketball team. Are they peaking at the right time? Well, UCSD Tritons men's basketball team have quietly won 5 straight games and are making a serious late push in the Big West Conference. They handled Cal State Bakersfield 84-72 behind 21 points from Hudson Mays. Their third straight 20-win season, then followed it up with an 80-64 win over Cal Poly in front of 3,300 at Lion Tree Arena. And here's what stands out. 18-1 when leading at halftime, turned it over just 6 times against Cal Poly, held a team averaging 82 points per game to 64, and 5 players in double figures in the home finale.
Yeah, now they're 21-9, 11-7 in conference play, and they're tied for third with 2 games left, including a massive showdown against Cal State Fullerton. They're defending, they're controlling tempo, they're winning inside 40 paint points in the paint against Cal Poly. They're also closing games. Now the question isn't whether or not they're good, it's whether or not they're March dangerous.
And to be March dangerous, they're going to have to be March dangerous in Las Vegas because they play the Big West Conference. The Big West Conference is a 1-bid league. And so they're just like San Diego State. They're going to have to get hot in a week in a weekend in Vegas. And so we'll see what the Tritons have up their sleeve in men's basketball. As for women's basketball, program history in the making. UCSD Tritons women's basketball might be building something even bigger. Back-to-back 85-point outings, back-to-back road wins, second straight 20-win season. They beat Bakersfield 85-79 behind 19 from Michaela Rose and followed it with an 85-61 statement win at Cal Poly. Erin Condren posted her 10th double-double. Rose is now 2 steals away from the single-season program record. They're 20-8 overall and 15-3 in Big West play, tied for first with Irvine with 2 games left.
Yep, absolutely. And the key stat is they've won the battle in the paint. They've won the turnover battle, fast break points and rebounds in both of those games. That's not just lucky. That's identity. And they're playing downhill. They're forcing mistakes. They're closing out, as this might be the most complete women's team that UC San Diego has fielded since they've gone into Division I basketball.
As for the baseball program, UCSD showed both their ceiling and their growing pains on the road at Louisiana. Opened the series with a 7-3 win. Trevion Martinez with 5 RBIs. Anthony Potestio going 4 for 5 and 12 strikeouts from the pitching staff. And then an 8-0 shutout loss and a 4-3 series finale heartbreak where they out-hit Louisiana but stranded 10 runners. That was after they stranded 20 runners on Tuesday against USD. They're now 4-6 heading into Cincinnati for another road test against this time a Power 4 opponent. This team can hit, they could pitch in stretches, but situational execution is the separator right now for this team.
Yeah, no, the talent is for sure there. It's just the consistency is not there. And we've talked about it a lot. A team that has problems driving in runners as well, trying to figure it out this year in the San Diego Padres. So this is it's a baseball problem that you're always going to run into. You're going to run into times where you cannot get runners in, and that really bit the Tritons on Sunday.
As for softball, from 10-1 to 9 straight losses, and then that's the most dramatic swing of the week.
Yeah.
UCSD softball started the season 10-1. They've now lost 9 straight games. They were no hit by Fresno State. They dropped both games Saturday despite 15 hits against Pacific. They're 10-10 heading into Big West play at UC Santa Barbara, but they still have some players that are doing pretty well individually.
Yeah, absolutely. Marley Espio, hitting 383 with 12 extra base hits. The offense can explode, 15 hits in one game, but pitching depth and late execution are what have been the problems here for UC San Diego's softball team. Now that conference play is starting, there's no more tournaments, there's no more warm-ups. It's for real now. They need to get it back into gear, and that is a rough way to go into conference play after such a hot start that they had.
Just overall with UCSD athletics, and we've talked about it enough, but for a school that is still transitioning from Division II to Division I, it's been a handful of years now. They're now postseason eligible. I mean, some of the things that we talked about in this report of multiple 20-win seasons for men's and women's basketball in a row, baseball, swinging with some of the best of them, and they won a Big West Conference championship in 2023. They just were ineligible for the postseason because of the postseason ban for teams transitioning to Division I. They've accomplished a lot so far, and they're really making a lot of headway in town and in Division I athletics.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to be proud of, and they've done a fantastic job. They've gotten that momentum behind them. Now they just need to continuously show that they can go out there and win at a high level.
.141, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Big game tonight for San Diego State. I mean, it's big and it's not. I mean, if they win, it's not like the metrics really change that much. And if they lose, they still have to do the same thing that they did that they're supposed to do right now. That's win a tournament in Vegas. I mean, there's only so much movement you're going to have at this point in time with 2 games left. It's a big game, but this is I think their last ditch effort to stay relevant in a at-large position. If you look at Joe Lenardi's latest deal that he put out, take this with a grain of salt because it's obviously a lot of SEC teams in here. He puts out his one sheet all the time. He actually put out his bracketology today. Actually, it was probably yesterday. But he had his usual one sheet a couple of hours ago. And as of right now, San Diego State is the second team on the first 4 out. So this is an opportunity to get another quad one win before the Mountain West tournament. If they beat Boise State, it'd be a lot better. Here's what Joe Lenardi said. The Aztecs are definitely not out of it with a bounce back win. This is very big. This is very big. I mean, there's a lot going on with this game in general, but must win for San Diego State. Now, here's the other thing, too. Tonight, Frank, every team that is part of the first 4 out with San Diego State, according to Joe Lenardi, is playing tonight. Auburn's playing tonight, the team in front of them. VCU's playing tonight. Virginia Tech, who has now creeped into the first 4 out, is playing tonight. 2 teams in the next 4 out are playing tonight, West Virginia and Cincinnati. And 3 teams that have the last 4 byes, TCU, UCLA, and Texas A&M, are all playing tonight. Now, the teams of the last 4 byes, UCLA, TCU, Texas A&M, that are playing tonight, they're playing good competition. They're playing quad one games, if I'm not mistaken. When you lose quad one games at this point in the season, you don't drop drastically. No. Like Iowa had the worst loss of the weekend. They lost to Penn State. They barely moved in the metrics. They're in an in spot right now. But I look at here's some of the bracket games they talk about. So Virginia Tech hosts Boston College. A home loss would just about end their chances. So if you're San Diego State, right? San Diego State fans, because the Aztecs are going to be worried. They're going to be worried about their own thing. You're an Aztec fan. You're rooting for Boston College tonight at 6:00. You're rooting for Boston College tonight at 6 o'clock. A road win for TCU against Texas Tech should be enough to lock up an at-large bid. TCU's playing for a lock tonight. It's on the road at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's one of the best teams in the country. As somebody that's watched enough TCU basketball this year, I can tell you they're not winning that game. They need to beat Cincinnati next week to just basically solidify their spot in the NCAA tournament before they have to play Big 12 games. LSU at Auburn. Here's another one. Again, Aztec fans, 7 o'clock tonight. LSU at Auburn. Pay attention to it. Auburn can only hurt their standing in this pairing and will not move up. So if Auburn wins, they ain't changing. They're not changing. But if Auburn loses, that's even better for the Aztecs. Toledo at Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is currently in a spot right now. A loss here, and the Redhawks will be bracketology's top story every day because this would be an interesting conversation if they don't win their particular contest. So, in terms of tonight's game, I'll pull up the bracketology. They came up with a watch guide for this week, and I already went through all those games for Tuesday. The projected field of 68 for college basketball. Lenardi's got Duke as the number one top overall seed. He's got Indiana as the last team in. He's got Auburn as a first four out. In terms of this, like where everything stands, San Diego is going to get a couple of rounds here. The first 2 rounds. Arizona's going to get a 1 seed, almost guaranteed. They're coming here. As of right now, they got them playing Tennessee State. They also got Clemson and Missouri in an 8-9 matchup. The other San Diego portion of this bracket, Arkansas, South Florida in a 5-12 matchup. Texas Tech, Stephen F. Austin in a 4-13. Potentially. So take that for what it's worth at this point in terms of the bracketology. And again, this is updated every day. Joe Lenardi has been updating the one sheet, if you will, every single day. He does not update his overall bracket. He does that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's talk about tonight's game. So, for San Diego State, they're playing Boise State after a 81-76 loss at the Pit to New Mexico, and they're reeling at the worst possible time. 3 conference losses in 4 games. Worst February under Brian Dutcher in 9 seasons, and bracketologists now have San Diego State as one of the first 4 out. We've talked about this. And awaiting Tuesday night, a Boise State team on their senior night, still furious about the controversial triple overtime game on January 3rd. So it's not just another conference game. It's not another conference road game. This is a resume survival game for San Diego State with the stakes being very high. Brian Dutcher said it himself. We're basically cannibalizing each other in the Mountain West. The league that sent 18 teams to the NCAA tournament in the last 4 years may now just send 2, with Utah State being a lock, New Mexico being the last 4 in, and San Diego State being part of the first 4 out. That is a massive drop-off. The February collapse by San Diego State standards, 4-3 in February. Previous 8 Februarys under Brian Dutcher, they've been 48-12. They're 4-3 this February. And from 2020 to 2023, they were 25-4 in this month. San Diego State historically peaks late, and this team is starting to fade late. And the resume killers right now, the home loss to Grand Canyon, really being swept by Grand Canyon, but the home loss hurts more than the road loss. The road loss to Colorado State after beating them by 23 points earlier this year and then blowing an 11-point lead at the Pit. It's the inconsistency that has continued to hurt this Aztec team. The Boise State storyline on January 3rd at Viejas Arena. Remember, Aztecs led by 24, and the game ended up going to 3 overtimes when B.J. Davis hit a buzzer beater, and Jeremiah Oden played in triple overtime after he was fouled out of the contest. A foul count error. Official David Walker missignaled a foul earlier in the game, leading to Oden staying eligible when he should have fouled out. Walker hasn't worked the Mountain West since that game. Boise State lost that game 110-107, lost their next 3, started 1-5 after being picked 3rd in the preseason. Leon Rice says the emotional hangover was real. Now it's senior night. It's going to be a sellout. They're going to have the revenge atmosphere. This is not a natural setting, nor is this a great spot for the Aztecs to be in right now. That we talked about yesterday, Frank, they put themselves into this situation.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I mean, they've had a couple of very bad losses, not just in the conference, but in non-conference play as well. Of course, the loss to Troy looms large at home in double overtime. The loss against Grand Canyon, while that was a bad call that was made, still doesn't change the fact that you lost that game. And now you've gotten back-to-back losses, also one against Grand Canyon and then against New Mexico now. I mean, this has not been a good season by any metric for San Diego State, and they have underperformed to almost everybody's standards.
Absolutely. It's been a very disappointing season. I had 20 points, all that stuff, but
20 wins.
20 wins. And we can hang a banner, but the 20 wins. But if you don't make the NCAA tournament, who cares?
Yeah, 20 wins this year means absolutely nothing.
It means nothing. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to win this conference. You're at least supposed to finish in the top 2, and you should be in the NCAA tournament without having to sweat it out on Sunday. On Selection Sunday, which is 2 weeks from Sunday. It's not this Sunday, it's the following Sunday, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But they're going to have to prove themselves in this game against Boise State. They're going to have to take care of business against UNLV, and they got to definitely get to the championship game in the Mountain West tournament. And you got to hope for some carnage, too. Like tonight, again, I mentioned, you need Auburn to lose to LSU tonight. You really do. I don't think that's going to happen. LSU sucks, but it's possible. I mean, Auburn hasn't played really good basketball as of late. They need Virginia Tech to lose to Boston College. Boston College also sucks. I can't imagine that being a game that goes in Boston College's favor. But that's another one that they have to root for tonight. VCU, that's the only other team that I don't know. They're playing George Mason tonight. George Mason is 22-7 on the year, 10-6 in the Atlantic 10. VCU is a 10.5-point favorite at home in Richmond. I mean, George Mason, if they beat VCU tonight, 4:00 on the CBS Sports Network, that's good news for San Diego State. But you don't have a lot of teams really in your favor right now. The other ones, of course, I mentioned in the SEC, Texas A&M. A&M's got Kentucky at home. If A&M wins that game, that's another feather in their cap. You got to hope that Kentucky wins that one. I already talked about the TCU game against Texas Tech. That's an expected loss for TCU. I can't imagine them winning that game, but they're not going to fall that big metric-wise. And then the last game that's tonight that you're looking at, kind of, not really, is out in the Big Ten, where UCLA hosts Nebraska. UCLA is a 1.5-point favor over the number 9th ranked team, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. UCLA wins that game, they're going to almost guarantee the spot in the NCAA tournament. But if Nebraska wins, it opens the door for maybe UCLA to drop a little bit. In terms of later on the week, the other teams that are in, Santa Clara, who's not going to play until Sunday in the West Coast Conference. They're in tournament mode now. Ohio State, New Mexico, and Indiana. Those are the other 4 teams that are the last 4 in that you're hoping lose at this point in time if you're the Aztecs. But big game tonight against Boise State. They need to be able to bounce back. They've had a rough February. They still are hanging around as the second team out of the first 4 out, but you want to play your way into the last 4 in before tournament time and before there's bid stealers afoot. We haven't even talked about bid stealers, Frank. Maybe we could talk about those next week. Quinn and Chris coming up next, but it's Matt Scraby and Sam Levitt. Swiping Sammy, huh? Maybe we'll ask him about that.